definitely innovate, but they stick to the meta and they keep themselves abreast of whatever's happening.
RVK's here! He's looking fresh! But you know what? Even our YouTube audience here, Crips, and let's just welcome them. Welcome back, YouTube audience, to Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai, and with our styling partner, Philips OneBlade. Today is the last day of this group stage, ladies and gentlemen. That means top 3 will be solidified and moving forward inside the playoffs. Today's matchup is going to be happening between OG and Reckoning Esports, where Reckoning Esports are sort of a little bit in the shaky spot, but still you can call them in the safe zone.
Reckoning Esports currently in the top 3 of their group. They have a very good chance of making it through to the playoffs. All they need to do is avoid losing by a massive margin. This matchup, it's kind of putting both the teams in somewhat of a safe spot because there's no way OG doesn't qualify. They're sitting on top of their groups and they're most likely going to get a head start in the playoffs as well. But if Reckoning Esports can do something to threaten that position and make a statement, then they better do it here.
Exactly. I mean, OG, they had a head start right off the bat, especially when they played against Lethal and they just one-sided game completely. So in the overall standings, they already started off with a huge head start. But here we have Flabbin. And then you've got Tesseract right next to him. Flabbin, as always, this man is just so cheerful. He'll always be there on the stage, dancing, having a great time. And hopefully every single player's going to be having a great time too. Here comes out the coaches, and I'm pretty sure this time's Reckoning's coach has sort of given them probably some sort of listening, because losing 2-0 against ASTER Army was something they did not see coming, but that did happen. So I guess OG, they should have a little bit of more upper hand inside this matchup, considering the mental boost as well matters a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so far the position of Orangutan has been very, very solid. They might have been some scrappy maps in the past against them, but they don't have a blemish on their record. These guys, they have been winning in such a dominant fashion that they have not dropped a single game yet. And while Reckoning Esports have shown us some really good stuff, the loss against ASTER Army, it kinda makes their track record a little bumpy. That doesn't mean they're not a strong team, they definitely are, but it shows that they can be countered if their opponent comes up with the homework.
Exactly. I like the fact that every single jersey's got the flag of India, other than the imports, of course, but it's always a proud moment when you see the Indian flag. So of course I'm just really excited for this matchup to begin as soon as possible, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm pretty sure it will be beginning soon enough. We're just having a little bit of strategies being discussed, probably some pep talks happening in OG. As always, they're gonna have the OG slogan going on as well. Soon enough, we're gonna head inside the map veto. As I said, the map veto is something that will be really crucial against these two Goliaths, because I personally think both these teams, when it comes to the mechanical skill and so far the team play as well, they do sort of match together. So this has to be one of the most balanced matchmaking so far. So let's move on forward inside the map veto. Are we going to be seeing those target bans and target picks, or are we going to be seeing those normal comfort picks? So far, Haven's being banned out from Reckoning Esports, and Haven is one of those maps that OG is quite dominant on.
Yep, there you have it. Targeted bans right off the bat. I like the fact that OG have banned out Lotus. It seems like a comfort ban, but Reckoning, first pick Ascent? Sure, Reckoning might be strong on Ascent, but can you guarantee a win against OG on this one? I mean, up until now, I've said it 1,000 times, and I don't mind saying it again. Ascent cannot be claimed by one particular team. You can't claim that Ascent is your strongest map. It is a wild card. So if Reckoning are okay with taking the risk, then sure.
Reckoning picked up Ascent, and then OG went for Fracture. Fracture's going to be the second time where we'll be seeing OG play on, and in general in VCSA, Fracture is going to be played for the second time, so of course I'm quite stoked. The best part for both these teams is that their comfort bans were the target bans as well, so they did not really need to think out the box or put themselves in an awkward situation to go for a target ban. Reckoning Esports has always, or at least decent amount of times, they have been going for the Haven ban even in the past, so they pretty much banned the Haven, and luckily enough for them, OG's dominant map was Haven. And then, I mean, we have seen OG in the past banning out Lotus, so that's what they exactly did, and recently we saw Reckoning Esports play on Lotus too, so as I said, the comfort bans were the target bans as well. Moving forward inside the Agent Select, and we're not going to see anything out of the box this time, but Deadly 10 on Duelist and Flabbin on Chamber. Okay, I'm going to take my words. That's a huge out of the box moment.
Yeah, it's surprising to see Chamber back in the mix. To be fair, Ascent is one of those maps where literally any agent can work, and the Chamber is gonna be a big risk. And luckily for Reckoning Esports, they've already tested out the Chamber in Ascent. I do believe they played it in the past when Reckoning played Ascent last time. So this is not gonna be a problem for Reckoning in the first place. But Orangutan, they're gonna have something very, very comfortable to deal with. Usually the Killjoy has two pieces of utility that can knock down a position, the Killjoy, the alarm bot and the turret. Now that the Chamber only has one trademark, it should open up some opportunities for OG. But the question is, can they exploit these gaps?
Can they exploit these gaps? And I'm pretty sure it will be answered as soon as the first round starts. But you know what's going to start before the first round, Crips? It's going to be the technical pause. It's our dear good friend. And as always, we're going to kick things off with the technical pause. You know what? It's better to get all the bad luck out of the way before the tournament starts, right?
Of course, of course. The technical pause is like the little ritual that everybody does before the game begins.
Yeah.
In
it's
Indian
on purpose,
culture, guys. Yeah, in Indian culture, a lot of people worship Ganesha. Over here, we give our good old friend Tech Pause a visit. Go to its house, have a cup of tea along with it, and then decide whether you do want to stay or not. Do you want to come back here for dinner? Hopefully not, because you have a banger of a game later on. But yeah, you always gotta say hi to this old friend.
Always gotta say hi to an old friend. But the tech pause continues so far, but the map veto was in front of us, and as I said, the comfort bans were the target bans for these teams. So once again, it's sort of stars are being aligned for both of them, and as I said, both these teams are equally skilled. So this matchup has to be one of the close matchups that we're going to be expecting. Either it's going to be completely close or a completely one-sided affair. There's nothing in between, but what do you think?
I agree with this one. Ascent is gonna be somewhat close, but whichever team wins Ascent will definitely have an advantage going into Fracture. And Fracture is one of those games where we've seen Orangutan dominate, but Reckoning Esports, they haven't really been so solid on it. So Orangutan definitely have Fractured in their back pocket. Reckoning, they're good on Icebox, but then again, the metal hasn't really been tested on Icebox as much.
Yeah.
Every game on Icebox that they have faced so far, their opponents were making quite a lot of mistakes where it was easy for Reckoning to punish. And I'm pretty sure OG won't be making all of those mistakes. So, assuming the second and third maps are somewhat one-sided, Fracture being a little in the favor of OG and Icebox being a little in the favor of Reckoning, it's all going to come down to who wins Ascent. And I honestly cannot predict a winner on Ascent. I don't think any analyst in the world can.
You never know, man. And I think so the reason why Reckoning Esports even picked Ascent is because OG, they lost on their recent Ascent map. Or else we haven't even seen Reckoning Esports play on Ascent, have we? I highly doubt we have. So I think Reckoning Esports...
We've seen them play Ascent, we've seen them play Chamber on Ascent too. That's why I wasn't surprised that the Platinum came along. But the question over here is, can Reckoning surprise OG over here? And it's okay. I mean, there've been several matches.
But here we go. Reckoning Esports. They take fire right off the bat. Straight up dashing inside the site. Deadly 10's going to be the man to lead the charge. And he's pushed up all the way deep to heaven, and I think so this time the Sova is going to be caught off guard, and he indeed won't be. Deadly 10, 2 quick taps, and indeed this man's proven out to be quite deadly, already giving his team a huge man advantage, and OG, they're caught sleeping. One more man to go. Rawfield's going to find the quick pick, but that's all he's going to get. No kill to follow it up. Flappin being shut down quickly enough. And Deadly 10 from the back. This man is just causing a lot of chaos and ruckus. And a 4K to close things off. Deadly 10 already starting off great on that duelist roll.
OG thought the game would start off in a nice and slow fashion, but Reckoning bring the heat. They don't just dash into the side. Reckoning Esports make Deadly extend all the way to its heaven, catches the Sova and the KO Lakin. Both the initiators taken out right away. Tesseract would have had no idea that someone can be bold enough to come this deep inside enemy territory. But then again, you gotta give credit to Rawfield as well. Both the Jets performing really well. Rawfield actually would have killed Deadly 10. He dinked him, but could not finish him off. Deadly ends up getting a 4K right off the bat.
And you were right. Yeah, we did see Reckoning Esports play against Lethal Esports on Ascent. And that was the first time we saw. So this is going to be the second time we're going to see them on this map.
Spike down A.
Was able to open things up quite well, but That's all he's going to find so far. It's a 1-for-1 trade. I would say it's not a fair trade considering the first round was won by the players of Reckoning. But it's something they can't work on with.
Yeah, Antidote cracking up on Master's Dome. That 0 point would have been very crucial if RVK had a lot more Killjoy utility. Canna takes away all the resistance from a site rush right off the bat. Oh, there you go. He's prepared for the recon dot breakage. Deadly 10 moving in. Instead of going towards lane 1, they're going towards stairs where RVK is prepared for that. Rockville in place.
Spike down B.
Spontaneous
One
one way
enemy
makes
remaining.
things slightly easier for him, but the Bulldog is much sharper. But Flabin has to recover the spike. It's stuck outside.
Yeah, it's a 1v2.
One enemy remaining.
Flabin places teleport.
30 seconds left.
And now is starting to go against his opponents. Just trying to find the player in the back end. Oh, Aziz this time's going to be the one to close things off. Flabin did not expect that this man all the way would be near the defender spawn, but hey, Aziz, I get play to him.
Fair play to him, yeah. OG, they played it nice and safely. Nothing too out of the ordinary. They recognized the push towards B. They were somewhat okay with letting them get inside as well, but Reckoning took a big risk by moving towards lane 2 rather than simply just beating out of lane 1. The fact that they allow Rockville a reposition and at the same time give space for that gives Rockville the backup he required, and that's how this becomes.
Speak about PC crumbling, and
Out of charges.
we've got the man already popping out the Blade Storm. Deadly 10. Now he'll indeed need to be deadly with this Blade Storm that he's decided to pop out. Antidote's all the way in binary. Position's not compromised, but he is being expected right there. Deadly 10's crosshair placement is exactly right on top of the winery. As soon as Antidote decides to peek out, his head will be sliced away. The patience being shoved from both the sides. Even Deadly 10 not really making a lot of moves. The entire team of Reckoning Esports as well, they're taking their time. Rafi was the man who was cut out right off the bat, so that's a good opening for Reckoning considering they're just on an eco. But such a peaceful moment, right?
Such a peaceful moment. The calm before the storm. Flabin's trying to stir up the storm. Turret activated, Nana Swarm pops. Are OG gonna buy this bait though? Paranoia says no.
Spike down
Had it ready.
The Paranoia and the peak perfectly done! And OG, another round squeezed up. But it was just an eco round, so as expected, OG got their round of the hand, but still the patience paying off. I like the amount of patience we're seeing inside this game already. Even Reckoning Esports, they're not really just going all in with like the street brawl mentality.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. I think they might bring it up later on in the game. For now, they knew that OG had the advantage and they got the early pick, so Reckoning thought, yeah, with the man advantage, we can take things slowly. We got the pace under control.
Scanning ahead.
Go 4v4 quickly. But this time there's a pretty strong crossfire on mid.
3.
Yeah, 3, almost 4 if you count RVK. He's somewhat floating between B and market for now.
Wow. OG, they've really done a lot of research on this entire playout of Reckoning Esports. They know Reckoning Esports do sort of rely heavily on those mid takes sometimes, so that's why we've got 4 players just present on the mid area. Hirsch, or Master's, been managed to take out 1 player in the front lines, but AZ's, that's a good cutoff. It's going to shut down the player all the way on top. And now Reckoning Esports left with the last 2 lifelines that they've got available. Tesseract pushing up quite close and personal. He's not going to be expected in this off angle. And Flabin's the last man to go. He will peek out, will get rewarded with the kill. And he's also got the rendezvous or tour de force available. So I don't think so he's going to pop it out right off the bat. He will probably try to use it in the eco rounds. But RVK is taken down quite low. And both these players definitely would want to play it off together. But they're still playing quite separated. RVK watching out the mid angle, and Flabin's making his way towards the B site. RVK is way too low.
Steps up Flabin. So, and even the turret is activated. The nanosums are actually boiling down quite a lot of time. They block out Challenge Flab.
Oh,
Before he gets plant user, he's gonna die, and there you have it. OG, it was almost out of their hands. Flaven had it in the bag, nearly.
Yeah,
But great stuff from RVK.
that was just way too close to comfort. I thought Reckoning Esports might just manage to squeeze that round away, especially when Flaven got the first kill. That was really close. But OG played that pretty nicely, especially Tesseract positioning himself in that off angle, sort of really caught the players off guard.
Placing alarm
And
bot.
Reckoning Esports now need to start expecting
Placing
that
swarm
OG,
grenade.
they're adapting quite quickly, and they have done their research.
Look at this adaptation from OG. They're not playing any KJ utils towards mid, but instead two of them are playing towards pizza. This could be a bait setup where Raw Fuel takes the first peek and he then dashes away towards market. They look towards market and hopefully don't check Tesseract.
24's in his hands. And just looking to find out someone. But OG, they're just playing so disciplined. No one peeking out. Respecting the opponents pretty well. RVK knows
Okay.
Flaben's being on the B main side all the time. Tesseract was able to squeeze away a kill onto Hirsch.
Our spike area is
Definitely going to add on a
Spike
nice
down
little
A.
opening for them. He tried to bait out a peek from RVK, but RVK is not peeking out yet. Because he knows Tour de Force is available near B main. If he peeks out, and look at him, he's just teasing him. RVK!
Yeah, why wouldn't he tease him? They've got the spike under control. Nice double for Aziz, makes things even easier.
30
And
seconds
even though Raw
left.
Fuel gets pinged out, what are they
Last
gonna do?
player standing.
Wait out the challenge? No way, he's got way too much cover.
Wow.
Yeesh. OG,
OG
looking
so far.
surgical.
Yes, they're reading him like a book. They know exactly what card's going to be pulled out at what time. I like that
And
we're
it's
able to
not
hear the
just
audience
that.
voice.
It's not just the fact that they're reading them, but they're also countering them really well. They didn't really care where the spike was until they actually found it. OG hold on to their defaults, they double up towards mid. Of course, the kills go in their favor with the operator, but even the
Here.
Z's peeked out really nicely out of the flash with A main. It's a pity we didn't get to see it on the main screen, but you can see it on the mini map. They died in such quick succession. I'm pretty sure he must have done a spray transfer or something like that.
4 ultimates are available on OG. So retake is definitely possible quite easily. This time, Reckoning Esports, they go quite quick. They go for the entire control. Deadly 10 sort of just trapped here. And AZs will find a sweet headshot. Man, taken down in the close, and now Deadly 10 out the game. That means everything's gonna fall and back for Reckoning Esports. Flavin's positioned himself in the pocket. And he's also being suppressed by the null command, so he cannot even use any of his abilities anymore. Reckoning Esports slowly and steadily once again they start making their move towards market, but the amount of intel OG is able to gather, it's impressive.
Yeah, there's a kill trap over there. If that's destroyed, there's a drone. If that's destroyed, they're gonna have Aziz mark this angle. They never leave this mid area vacant. And while Reckoning have been pressuring towards mid, there's literally no other place where they're applying pressure. So OG can afford to stack up this area. They don't need to worry
30
about
seconds
any
left.
gaps in their defense. Get ready for this one. Reckoning are gonna walk into a death trap the moment they enter the B site. They're hoping to bamboozle OG by trying to fall back. Even then, it's not gonna work because Antidote's marking tree. And now we can hear them. They might as well go for a save.
Yeah, it's a 2v5, next to impossible
10
to pull
seconds
off.
left.
Well, at least that's what it seems so far,
Teleport.
and you don't even have a lot of time left, so you might as well just go for a save. Reckoning Esports, they could have almost just walked inside a meat grinder, but they decided to back off at the last moment. But so far, Reckoning Esports, things aren't really working out their way, and OG, I'm really impressed with the amount of research this team has done. They know exactly what card will be pulled out at what time.
Let's see if Reckoning can switch things up. So far, OG have not only read them properly, but also acted accordingly. And all of this without making any proactive moves themselves. The only moves OG are really making are the kind of passive ones where they change up their defense. Sometimes stacking 4 towards mid, sometimes going back to their defaults, moving around their KJ util a bit, position of the nano swarms and everything. So all these changes are difficult for Reckoning to handle, difficult for them to cope, and Reckoning are having a hard time figuring out the setup. But luckily, they haven't seen the aggressive OG yet. The kind of OG that pushes out and tries to corner you in. They haven't really seen that yet. And as long as Reckoning can get that space from OG, which they aren't breathing down their necks at, I think Reckoning should have some scope of coming back in this game.
I think so. Now we'll see that, OG.
Yeah, we might. They
Right now,
expect that
in this
Reckoning are gonna
round.
make moves of their own, so OG, even they can start bringing up the heat, fight fire with fire.
Exactly. I mean, this tactical timeout, it has to be for a reason. I guess the coach is probably able to get the read on which player is positioned where. So I guess it would make a lot of sense if you do see that aggressive page being shown from the side of OG, but so far they haven't really needed to show it, considering with the way Reckoning Esports have been playing the map of Ascent. It's Reckoning usually who takes the fire, and once again they're going to do the same thing. Market control established in a couple of seconds. Deadly 10's already all the way up in market, but Raw Fuel, he will cut off his lifeline within seconds. Deadly 10 not inside the game anymore. Null command being popped out as well. Raw Fuel getting caught off guard with that angle. And considering the fact that he's also being suppressed, nothing much getting done. They're making their way inside the site. But Reckoning Esports, now they're starting to clean off the players of OG.
Obscuring vision.
And they've already established a massive advantage. Not too many ultimates
Spike
available
planted.
for OG. The Hunter's Fury was utilized and it did a decent amount of damage, but didn't really stop Reckoning. And even if they try to do something now, the suppressive ability keeps them disengaged every single moment. It's OG's turn to go for the save now, unless Reckoning offer them 1v1s or give them opportunities.
Wow. Speak about the win-win opportunities, and so far it seems like they are being given to. Good recon dart.
remaining.
Man got spotted through the... But, oh, last man alive. And he's just going for the jump spot. Tesseract's going to go for the stick, but Flabin peeks out. A quick tap on the skull is going to seal the deal. Reckoning Esports, they finally needed that momentum breaker in their hands. But the amount of guns that are being lost, that might just help them as well in the upcoming rounds. But still, OG, on the other hand, they've got a decent amount of economy already established, so they are going to be looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah. This is just so
Player
unfortunate
standing.
for Reckoning. Like,
One enemy remaining.
when Deadly 10 dashed in towards Market, he would have expected people to be there. Reckoning have always seen multiple OG members towards mid in the past, but this time they just leave the turret towards Switch, and that is the only reason people mark Market. So Reckoning thought they could get a couple of kills right away, but that did not happen. They had to fight their way through. And ideally, OG would have been able to stop them in their tracks, but because they all got suppressed with the null command, Rockfield couldn't dash. Nowhere to run! Oh, and he's in more trouble now that the Hunter's Fury is used. There's so much damage dealt towards OG, and Grades haven't established, but after that quick peek towards A, there's a fast rush towards the B side. The lockdown keeps Reckoning Esports away just for a moment, but they disrespect it and move inside.
Really impressive stuff. And Deadly 10, if you've not realized, Crips, so far they're just using him as a bait. Deadly 10 is a pure bait for Reckoning Esports. Even in the previous round, they sent him all by himself in the B site, or at least towards Market, and then they moved on towards A. And even this time, they sent Deadly 10 all by himself on the A side, where he was able to find out one player, but then the rest of the team was on the B site. So Reckoning Esports, they're just using Deadly 10 as a bait, while the rest of his team are starting to make the path towards the opposite side. Raw Fuel, he's got the operator in the hands, but I highly doubt now OG will try to commit. He's got the knives in the hand, but Woya will instantly cut him off. Last man to go. Aziz is not going to take any sort of chances anymore.
And this kind of bait really works out. We've seen so many teams in the past try to fake stuff out, and they've always failed because they send in utility, but they don't come in bodies. And as long as OG don't see bloodshed or an enemy on the screen themselves, they're not going to believe it. This time, the duel that Deadly 10 took upon himself, it cost him his life, but he cleared up so much space for his teammates towards the B side. And you can see that the only person who was really present from OG over there was RBK. He realized that his team is stuck on A and they're never going to make it back on time. So he thought the lockdown might just keep Reckoning away from the side and buy space for OG members to move in and assist RBK. But this guy, the bunch of Reckoning players, they just disrespected the lockdown and they moved in. There were clear gaps towards the back of site.
Some
And it
heavy
just-
talking being done, Crips, and this is really impressive. I'm loving this game so far. And I think so far, this is the most strategically heavy game so far we've seen inside VCSA.
Most strategically heavy game of Ascent.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
We've seen plenty of other great games. This time, though, it just so happens that Reckoning got the read on them pretty nicely. This is the one rare moment where OG have actually fallen for a Reckoning bait. So far, they've been doing pretty well on the rounds that OG lost before this was mostly due to the gunfights not going their way, but this time Reckoning actually managed to bamboozle them. Now they're getting into their heads. Let's see if they can stay in there for longer.
Signature Vandals in the hands of Reckoning Esports. And some utilities being tossed on over early off to gain that mid control. Deadly 10. As always, man's going to be the front lines, but this time, Reckoning Esports, they're not really going for a complete aggressive push. They're taking their sweet time, respecting the opponents. What was that? No scope, Fuel! You're not supposed to hit shots like that inside a professional game. How do you make it happen? Raw Fuel, the amount of guts this man has to peek out the way he did. It's incredible. RVK, all the way pushed up from B-Man, and now OG, as soon as they find some sort of space given away, they take it quickly without even wasting any time. But Reckoning Esports, they start to get the grip back inside the round.
RVK thought he had it under control. He pushed
Last
it out.
player standing.
And with his teammates guarding a shot, everything was in the bag for OG, but now things start to fall apart. I can't even call RVK's net overextension. It was a justified push. But Rafuel going down over there, that is just Flabbin feeling himself. That was a nutty shot. And now it's all down to Antidote.
30 seconds left.
Despite making the right calls, he finds himself in this hopeless situation. There's not much he can do to win the round.
Here. Cover going out.
Antidote, 1v3. And I guess he will go for it. Yeah, he's got a decent amount of credit, so I guess he might as well go ahead and try to dent up opponent's economy. Even Master and Hirsch, they do have a decent amount of money, so even if they do get taken out, they're still going to have the money to go ahead and buy in the upcoming rounds. But no is going to be the call, so Antidote's going to back off with the operator, save the op for his teammate, and maybe try and solidify the upcoming round. A wise option, but could have went for the clutch if he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure he's capable of pulling off the clutch, but he's more responsible than that. He likes to be cold and calculated. And right now, the odds just heavily favor a save. This op has been very expensive, and the only person in this team who somewhat has money is Rafuel. So as long as Rafuel's got the money, he can afford to purchase weapons for the rest of the team while his trusty op is available in his hands. Also, fun fact, Antidote used to be a brilliant opper himself.
Yeah.
I mean, if push comes to shove and OG wants to go for a double op setup, then Antidote might just pick up the sniper once again alongside Rafuel.
Fine death.
But that shot from Rafuel, man, peeks out, doesn't expect the man in the close, and just goes for the shot, and somehow manages to hit that. That's just mind-blowing. But I'm not gonna lie, Crips, today it feels like a date with the Destiny. Both these teams are performing to their fullest potential. And once again, Rafuel, a quick tap on the player's body will shut him down with the op, but Reckoning Esports instead, they're gonna trade it out for the side control. Tour de Force activated as well, and now Reckoning Esports, they've got the side control established. The player in the close was spotted out, but Master's gonna back off instantly. Locks control given away, and Reckoning Esports, Master does have a key positioning, but if he gets checked out there, then Reckoning Esports, their defense might just fall apart in this post plant.
Reckoning don't have too much utility that will help them with the retake. As he's but that's about it. Master pushing out of the smoke. Yeah, more than just his job. He's destroyed OG's setup. There's no way they can push inside now, not with Flabbin marking them with the tour de force. And the time's out gone.
One enemy remaining
as well. Aziz can make it look stylish, make it expensive for Reckoning, but they've got money for days. They have nothing to fear.
And this is exactly what we talked about, right, Crips? We said this too. The firepower on the side of OG is incredible. You can never afford to give this team 1v1s because there's a high chance they would always come out on top. And OG, they have been proving that over and over again. But Reckoning Esports, the unity with the way they're pushing inside the sides with the fakes they have been able to show so far, they're able to get the side control quite well in the hands, and the trade game so far is looking pretty fantastic, especially after that tactical timeout. Reckoning Esports have managed to figure something out, and they're just working off of that. Flabin pulling out an operator. Interesting choice.
Yeah. Here you have it. I mean, when you've got money to spare, why not? It's also quite interesting how Deadly 10 attempted the same cloudburst plus dash in towards market as last time, but Raw Fuel was marking it. It kind of tells you that OG also can read what Reckoning are trying to do to some extent, but despite having that read, they weren't able to stop them in their tracks. Reckoning brute forced their way through, and they're trying to go for it again.
Yeah.
Warrior exploring mid. This time the mid setup has changed. I think this is like the first or maybe just the second time that an alarm bot has been placed over there. Usually there's a turret towards switch, or there's multiple members of OG marking down the angle, but never just an alarm bot. Lacking security this time around towards mid.
Right here.
Let's see if Reckoning can exploit it.
That's a quick rotation to B man already.
Bomb grenade out.
Reckoning Esports, they've got one man who's all the way flanking in the back. RVK, that's a great shot. The burn being put in the ground, and now another player will follow it up. Hirsch was there with the trade, but the problem is the amount of bodies
left.
Reckoning Esports are dropping. They cannot afford to keep going on with this pace anymore, and that's why the rest two players are back off. Flabin and Hirsch now starting to play together. There's an operator in the hands of Flabin, but they will make the rotation all the way on the A side as quick as possible. They realize the rotation was there quickly enough from OG, so A side's going to be up for grabs, and that's what they exactly do.
10
Reckoning
seconds
Esports,
left.
A side solidified. But Flabin, he's going to have a lot of opportunities, a lot of burden on his shoulders to try and pull this one off, because the plant is not for Flabin anymore.
The flank coming in from Raw Fuel, it's going to be intercepted by the trademark placed on long. Oh wait, it's not a trademark, it's actually... Is that a rendezvous? Oh yeah. Oh, never mind.
Last player standing.
Over Raw Fuel. Frag, yes he can. Only one for Flabin. As soon as OG figured out that they're heading towards the B side, Antidote moved in towards mid, hoping to intercept them. He just missed them by a second. But the read was there, so at that point, OG were like, yeah, it's okay, let's go towards the A side. We've seen them, we know what they're doing. Might as well wait for Rocket's back and then we'll try.
That was such a good shot by RVK. Just clips his wings. But OG, they have managed to come out on top in the defense, finally. Reckoning Esports, after winning 4 rounds back-to-back, they're finally now receiving a good answer. So far, the game's just so back and forth. Both these teams are able to read each other out and adapt to each other so well. Let's see inside this round. We're going to drop a rotation. Hunter's Fury being used as well from the opposing side, but no value found by Tesseract.
It was a bit premature. RBK's taking up a lot of damage. Can he continue defending B by himself? I mean, this time there's not even much security on mid except for the Vandal on Tesseract. Rockwell's not marking this region, he's watching a main instead, which is appropriate if you want to stop Flabin. But the fragment will keep Reckoning away, and if they decide to pursue it, the flash will work as well. Aziz moves right outside. The Paranoia are slowing down Reckoning, but not stopping them. OG have already rotated in. There's a 3-stack towards the A side. Flabin deals with Antidote and Tesseract as well. It's all down to Rocky when he's trapped underneath. The shorties isn't going to help him much. And RBK's already got one foot in this grave. This is
Indeed it does, and that shot from Deadly 10 once again proven out to be deadly. Flabin and Deadly 10 single-handedly just pulling that round off in their hands. Flabin got 2, Deadly got 3 with his knives. Was able to slice and dice through his opponents, and that's going to be it for the first half, ladies and gentlemen. 6-6 is the scoreline, and this game is way too close for comfort. Both these teams might just start feeling their nerves in the second half, because it's all going to boil down to this pistol round to dictate the pace of the upcoming second half. But so far, it's been a fabulous game, Crips.
Yeah, it has been a fabulous game. I also love the adjustments from both the teams. We'll discuss more of that in the next half, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned.
Here for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back to the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, where these two teams are duking it out so far. 12 rounds have happened on the board where the scoreline is 6-6, but now we're going to be moving inside the second half where we're going to kick things off once again with the pistol round to make or to decide the flow of the game.
Both teams have shown some really impressive adjustments so far. OG in the first half changed their mid setup a lot. Sometimes it's a 4-stack, sometimes it's a turret marking from switch, sometimes an alarm bot, and sometimes just a bait and switch setup along with raw fuel and tesseract. Reckoning, on the other hand, have responded by taking market control really well. With this pistol, it's gonna be a very simple A-main push, which Deadly is equipped, armed to the teeth. And he's ready for this one. Flabbin tried to make it mark, but he failed. Deadly will have to step up more, or he will have to fall back and wait for his teammates to arrive. Not all of them are in place yet.
Deadly's aim is so good. Even in the first pistol round, he had the biggest impact so far inside the entire game, and now it seems like in the second one as well, he has had a decent amount of impact. He's the one to open things up, and unfortunately this time is not going to be alive to close things out. But it's completely fine. He gave his team a huge man advantage. The shock darts are inbound. Nothing found by the shock darts. Antidote gets the spike plant, and we might just see a 4 spy coming in the upcoming round, considering they got the spike plant down, Crips.
Yeah, and if it's a spike plant down, then OG have a good chance of winning the second one. Reckoning have had a horrible track record of second rounds in this half so far. Remember how the first round was a good one, but then they slipped away with the second round, so it might happen again.
Some good tappings from both the sides, but Deadly 10 just having the stars aligned for himself. Was able to line up with 2, and things are looking way too fantastic now. 0 point in the hand to gain some information on a main. Has to be a quick one. They get it in the hand too. 2 players are probably spotted out there. OG, they have went with all the sheriffs on the board. No armors to back him up, so it shouldn't be that tough to pierce through. And that's what exactly happens. Hirsch and Master pushing together, and Aziz is going to touch himself in the corner.
Sheriff's not doing as much for OG as we thought they would. There was a time when RVK wore the crown of the best sheriff wielder in India. Show us why he can take. Absolutely he can. Takes off that crown, but goes unchecked. Deadly gets a cheeky one.
I would have went for the knife. But I guess the players are locked in a little bit too much, you know. Would not want to take the odds. Would not.
One enemy remaining.
Too easy.
Take a little throw, you know. Sometimes when you're just going for that knife, but yeah, as expected, a clean round from Reckoning Esports, considering force wasn't made from the opponent. They just went for some sheriffs without any armors, and as I said, shouldn't be tough to pierce through. Bonus round will be continued from Reckoning Esports, as they do have 1 Phantom on the board so far, and Flabbin, he isn't anywhere close to his ultimate, so that means he will probably go for a buy. Or maybe not. I think so. He's going to play on his Headhunter. Interesting.
That should work.
5 bullets in the head armor. Like shields and the sheriff. Sorry, 4 bullets, my bad. I forgot.
Yeah, it's
Basic
okay, man.
elements.
It's okay, it's okay. I mean, we've been playing video games our whole life, you know, so it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes I forget. I mean, what was the last time we went to a school? Years ago, man, so yeah, it's completely okay. But the 4 bullets are going to be more than enough for a man like Flabbin.
Definitely.
A quick tap and a dirt nap. Oh, boy.
Nah, overheated. Antidote deals with him. But here's the thing, the spike is already in market. If Antidote has to come in from the main and crunch Boya, he has to do it now. Boya's playing on the curvature of the smoke. And if he's detected over here, he's trapped on an island. No backup, no assurance, and absolutely no reasons to stay alive.
Easy stroll on the site. Deadly 10 with a Vandal in the hand. Master is going to make his way.
1 enemy remaining.
He will be instantly shut down Last man is Deadly 10, and I think so. Deadly 10's position is quite unaware. So he can try and pull off some value with this Vandal, or maybe also go for the save if he can. He's got a light armor. He can definitely bring out a decent amount of value if he wants to go for the fight, and that's what he's exactly going to do. He's able to shut down the first player that stands against him, but the rest of the players now will try to respect Deadly 10. But as soon as he looks away, he gets surprised.
There would have been a reasonable reason to turn away. You would have expected someone to push into CTE, and as soon as their position is figured out, start moving towards mid to kill you.
Take flight.
Completely understandable.
One enemy remaining.
But OG looks so clean and composed in this round. It's almost like the clock doesn't exist for them. They don't mind waiting it out. They don't mind executing in the last few seconds. And they still had plenty of buffer. Now it's going to be the real acid test. Both the teams are equal weaponry. Oya has a slightly bigger gun with a much higher price. Let's see how he puts it to use. He's playing on a shot, not the position you will see most so as in most of the time. But here's still the funny thing. He throws the dart towards B, which reveals a couple of people, but then he gets a kill from a shot, completely bamboozling RBK.
Tipped away a little bit with that fragment. Nothing much. Tesseract. Some blind shots connecting for that man, OG. Still, they haven't really got anything established. They've lost out on RBK, so definitely not a good way to lose out your Sentinel, considering his utilities are something you're going to be relying on to catch up that back flank. But Master now knows they've made their way towards the switch. Deadly 10 able to squeeze away one. This man is a sneaky one. And Deadly 10 was able to find one man. Master whiffs his shots. He gets shut down by AZs. That's a pure diff. And OG, with the extension as well, they're able to find out a lot of value. But this time, Hirsch strikes in as a savior. Trades are now starting to happen back and forth. And you do see a 2-on-2 scenario. Flavin with only 20 HP did what he was supposed to do. And Antidote is going to go for a last-second TP on the A site.
He's got plenty of time to reposition.
Spike planted.
And he will be able to hear Harsh coming in, unless Harsh starts walking away right off the bat. This should be easy for Antidote. Harsh has more HP,
Traveling.
but the pressure is on. Luckily for Harsh, he has plenty of time to clear out all these angles manually. Smoke placed towards Hell, hoping to isolate angles first. But he's not looking in the right direction. Now he's gonna force Antidote's hands. Curvature of the split. What's gonna happen? He peeks and flicks away. The captain stepping up.
Yeah, signature Vandal coming into play. And Antidote, as you said, the captain steps it up to the occasion. But OG, the amount of value they found with this overextension, it's honestly quite incredible.
One enemy remaining.
The B site, Deadly 10 and Flavin, they tried their best to deny and resist that site control. But unfortunately, when you've got way too many players just walking on your angle and you don't even have the superior amount of HP to support you, it gets a little tough to try and hold it off. So OG, they got their hands on the B side quite easily. But so far, the score line's evened out. It's 8-8.
Harsh with a really salty attack. Unfortunately, that's not where OG are headed. They're hiding their way into the B site. Hang on to Master, body back by site. No problems for them whatsoever. That is,
Give me those
now.
back.
Oh, but the moment I say it, definitely starts to create problems. He starts to find solutions for his team before Rockfield closes the book on him.
Oh, Hirsch! 2 quick taps. Opponent's not inside the game anymore. It's a 1-on-2 doable. And Hirsch can't definitely pull it off if he keeps on the pace going with the way he did, killing those 2 players.
One enemy
RVK
remaining.
in the back. One more tap to shut down RVK. Last man to go. Hirsch hasn't been able to pull off 1v3 so far, so the 4th man should be tough to pull out as well. 4 bullets in the mag, but this time Antidote once again steps up and clutches it out for his team. But OG, that was a situation that could have been thrown away with a silver platter.
Oh, I don't think there's any silver platter involved in this one. This was a sloppy feast at a wedding, which kind of ends up overspilling out of your plate. Reckoning Esports almost had this in the bag with those nutty shots from Harsh. I mean, it all started off really smoothly for OG. It wasn't supposed to go down to such an ugly brawl.
Knife deployed. 3 suppressed.
Okay, then Reckoning Esports, plenty of information off of that 0 point, and they go in for the pinch. Movement to mid already, and Antelope caught napping. And as soon as they get that frag, Deadly dashes back, but they've still left Flavin to mark that angle. And look at the craziness of this man. He continues blocking the angle from top. Absolutely not worried that someone might peek him from top mid. That's how much confidence he had in his own read. He knew for a fact that he will never peek him from top mid. So no
Last player
either.
standing.
Oh no.
Caught in an awkward position, and RVK can't do anything. Gets beamed down by Voya.
That was quite a scrappy take, I'm not gonna lie. Not a huge fan of the way they went for that take. I mean, once again, they were just like, all right, you know what? Flip it. We're just gonna go straight up on the B side, hope for the best. And especially this push from Deadly 10 really just caught him off guard. Reckoning Esports, or both these teams in general, they're always able to pull something new to the table every single round. That's really tough to expect.
See if they can expect this. Antidote with the Lone Spectre. All 5 outside of B.
Get out of my way.
Fast one. Everything else thrown in, and now the Hunter's through. Good luck dodging all of this. A tag onto... Not a tag. I thought Voya was active with that, but yeah, no damage so far. It's actually OG taking the brunt of the damage.
Oh, Antidote, how does he make it even alive? 5 HP, dude! And then this shot from RVK. You talk about the sheriff criminal, and he strikes again. But he needs to be caged up as soon as possible. Cannot keep on hitting shots like those. But as soon as we talk about that, Master himself just strikes in with a tap of himself. Good lockdown. Players being forced out from their prime spots, and now Reckoning Esports, they're looking to make their entry on the site once again. Look at AZ's, as always, this man tries to extend all the way in the back, but Voya in the back lines will shut every single player down. This man is a sweeper.
Right here.
Yeah,
What
and
do
he
you
was
say,
a lonely
Drone?
sweeper over
Ready to
there.
stretch your wings?
Trapped in the back of the side, his teammates trying to provide him backup from defend the spawn entrance, but they were blocked out by the smoke. All he had to do was stay alive over there, buy space for his teammates to move, but he ended up doing so
Enemy
much more than
remaining.
that.
Spike down B.
Really nicely done by Voya, even though the side control was lost, but this man kept his composure in the back, in the boathouse, and took him down one after the other. And this time now, OG's coach. OG is going to go for a tactical timeout. Something needs to be said here, considering Reckoning Esports, they're starting to win, or at least starting to get the momentum back in their hands. 9-10 is the scoreline. They're not that far away, not out of the reach.
Yeah, and now the game has reached a critical point where an economic meltdown will really capsize the game for you. These teams cannot afford to go in an eco now. You end up giving 2 rounds to your enemy in that process. And you can't afford to be stuck in that vicious cycle of ecoing, buying either. You need to have dominance, and that doesn't just mean winning rounds, but also keeping most of your guns alive in those round wins. That's how you ensure economic stability. AWP in the hands of Flabin. Last time this AWP was shunned out by RVK's Sheriff. So now he's gonna have a little bit of PTSD. That's exactly why he's changed up his angle. He's usually holding the B main area from stairs, but now he's just marking
One
main
suppressed.
1 from above.
Yeah. That was a really good 0 point. It gave all the 3 players his position away. Solid one. 3 players outside main.
Are they gonna change up their approach? I don't think so.
Highly doubt that. RVK took out his turret
That's
in his
done.
hands at the last second, but he's able to catch off Flabin. Did not expect RVK to be in the close corner, especially when the turret was taken away in his hands. RVK, I don't know if that was calculated or not, but that worked out perfectly well for him. Especially when he took the turret away in his hands. Flabin thought that they're starting to push away now, but RVK was just over there, waiting for him to peek out. That can be coincidence or calculated, but so
down A.
far, trades did happen towards Tree. But it's still in the favor of OG with the way they're able to rack up these kills towards the site. AZ's with only 2 HP is still marching strong.
Yeah, he's the man who's got the highest impact in the tournament, and he's showing us why. Entry track to the level like an absolute
Last
boss,
player
but Harsh
standing.
steps up in massive ways.
Wow.
He's got some of the most impressive clips of this match.
Consistent fragger. That's what you call Hirsch. And Voya was so pumped up.
That's
But
done.
this right here, I'm really trying to wrap my head around it.
Spike
And I'm
down
really
A.
trying to know, was that calculated or did that just happen on fluke where he just took his turn back in his hands and Flabin peeked out right there. I don't exactly know if that was calculated or not, but whatever that was, it's definitely a strategy the other
Right here.
teams can try and use if you guys are watching.
I mean, RBK has been dipping Flavin quite a lot. The personal rivalry between these two players is starting to build up. Last time he shut down Flavin with a Sheriff, then with a Vandal, and now Flavin's got the op again. So, is RBK prepared this time? He's got the only Vandal in this round from OG, and he delivers. Amazing stuff from OG so far, but they still have a lot of ground to cover.
Oh my god, that's what I call a pure diff. Even though Deadly 10, he had the advantage, but wasn't able to find the kill, and he just gets absolutely flipped on.
I don't know.
What
how
a
he was
shot
free.
from Aziz. Aziz is quite softened up, but this time he will be cleaned up as well. Raw fuel, there's a high chance he might be spotted out by the recon dart, but he decides to hide away from it. So at least till now, his position's not compromised. They don't exactly know if someone pushed up quite deep in mid or not.
Trap. Lava triggered. The drone's gonna bring him out as well.
30
I'm
seconds
surprised he
left.
stayed long. I'm surprised he stayed for that long in the first place. I thought he would have been dead the moment he got tagged by the drone.
Same.
Timing play by Voya could have been amazing.
Spike planted.
It's really interesting that he didn't even peek out. And I'm just surprised. Voya, with the way he peeked like that, was not supposed to do so, but I guess it's just the heat of the moment when you start to feel yourself and you're like, okay, maybe I can stop this thing from happening, but you end up messing things up. It's a 2-on-4. It's doable, but Tesseract's watching the corner with the op. To trespass that, and incredible shots need to be hit, and that's what happens. Master, he pulls up with a nice peek. He does find the man, but it's all down to Hirsch now. This man's been feeling himself so far. He manages to tap the first, but Antidote, he's feeling cracked up.
Jeez, I've never seen Harsh be so deadly before. I mean, he was always a great player, but the spotlight's usually taken up and hogged by the likes of Flabin and Voya. Now you see what kind of a player Harsh is, and boy, it's scary to consider that there's such big guns on Reckoning.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
Those shots, man.
Thanks.
It's honestly crazy to see that OG, they're able to pull off these rounds with only sheriffs in the hands. Those shots that are being hit to suppress down players in the front. But this time, Flabin going aggressive towards him, and he's always in the front lines, wanting to find the value for his team. And Flabin's holding an off angle this time. But he's expected to peek out. He does peek out, but he doesn't get the kill, so that's unfortunate for him.
It's so funny how Flavin has tried to fight RBK 3 times towards B main, and after he got shut down all 3 times, he switches up the approach and goes towards A main instead, only to find RBK here once more. RBK has been the bane of Flavin's existence. Maybe he can avenge this by killing one of his teammates instead, as they're about to peek now. Oh, 0 points. No tool de force for you anymore. No weapons, no escape, and RBK for the 4th time kills him.
NODWIN Esports. Now they're starting to fall back. Now they're starting to get taken down from their own site. Site control taken away. And the way OG managed to brute force their way inside the site, it's pretty nice. And now just the last 2 players left to life. Deadly 10 and Voya to go. And these guys so far, I guess the call out has to be made to go for a save. I mean, it's a 2-on-5. What are the odds that you're going to be able to come out on top in this scenario? You might as well take the odds for the upcoming round, and that's what they're going to go for. Deadly 10 does have light armor too, and even his teammates pretty good. So, yeah, they will manage to save a lot of economy if they do go for this save successfully.
Orangutan tying up the score with Reckoning. And since they've got all their players alive, it gives them a lifeline. Even if they lose the next round against Reckoning, OG can afford to purchase weapons again and play for overtime. But that's a big if. Let's just hope OG never have to face a situation like that. They've finally managed to break Reckoning. And this game has been so back and forth up until now, but the one thing that's remained a constant is the duel between RVK and Flabin.
And considering, I mean, this entire change-up, that switch-up came inside OG's lineup, right? Now we're seeing Antidote on that Omen. Last time we saw Antidote against ASTER Army, if I'm not wrong, he was playing KJ. So this whole switch-up is quite interesting. And Levi was playing that Astra. But now that Astra being switched on over by the Omen, this is definitely quite an interesting change. And I'm pretty sure Reckoning Esports, if they would have found out that RVK is playing in here, they would have expected something new to come in. But did they expect this exact composition? I highly doubt.
Down to the last details, it seems a little skeptical. I don't think they had that. But they were prepared for the general plan overall. Although by this point, whatever plans either side have cooked up are probably going to start running out.
Tactical timeout's over. The talking time's over. Now it's time to do something. Make something happen. Vinny.
Hirsch picked up a sheriff instead of a Bucky. We saw him pick up the Bucky before, but we didn't get to see any kills with it. I was kind of excited for that one, but look at the aggression from Taki 10. Oh, and the drone spots him. Now he's in trouble. He has to make the jump in. He can't hope to escape back to safety.
Placing swarm
And he's
trap
trapped
inside.
now. The nanoswarm is going to burn him alive. He's just hoping to make his escape. 0 point
Oh.
kind of helps out. The fact that he's aggressing and he's able
Right
to
here.
tackle
Scanning ahead.
Walkthrough as well.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, somehow turns a negative situation into a positive one. And I think he's going to be very happy with that.
I don't know why OG do not commit to try and take that man down right then and there. So could have just pushed up at least two players together, try to play off of their traits, but no, that was not the call being made. OG, they instantly try to go for the side control. Man advantage is sort of neutralized so far. Raw fuel for Master. And I highly doubt if Master is going to be able to get back up on his feet. He's getting rest up. The man is close. His position's not compromised yet. But OG, they're striking out of nowhere with two of their own. Deadly 10 and Flabin to go. 2v3 scenario. It's looking quite tough to pull off.
Grenade out.
But Flabin's managing to squeeze out one more. It's going to equalize the situation in their heads.
One enemy remaining.
Flabin's still in the back line, peeking out. Deadly 10 gets one tap through. And RVK. Calm, cool, collected, taps on the opponents.
No, but his opponents don't feel that calm, cool, collected vibe. They only see the demon that came from hell, with all the heat along with him. Jeez, that was a risky resurrection though onto Master. He got taken down moments after that. So it basically was all for
Enemy
nothing.
remaining.
But you have to admit, OG were taking some big risks picking out fights like these.
Test.
RVK had some really strong will to fight over there. He comes out on top of that. Can't even blame him if it did not. He had to just buy time over there. And that was the right call from him.
My ult
Now
is
they
ready.
find themselves at map point. Orb available on Warrior. And this, I'm sorry, not on Warrior, on Tesseract. And this gives them the ultimate too. Contest Fury, Lockdown, some really important stuff available for OG in their arsenal. Should they choose to deploy it?
Why
It's
not?
not even a
Might
question
as
of
well.
should, it's now a question of when. It is last round, so we gotta win this.
Map
Right
point
here.
on the map picker for Reckoning Esports.
Tragic.
Indeed, man. But this game's been so entertaining so far. Really close game. Been having fun casting this game.
You
But
should
now
run.
every single player, at least all the players are just stacked up right then and there. Shock darts were invested to shut down that lockdown, but eventually Reckoning Esports will need to respect that lockdown and fall back. Side control easily taken. 0 point was
30
invested as
seconds
well. The players in the back are not suppressed. They can't do anything much. Manfred peeks out from market. Deadly 10 manages to squeeze away 1 kill in his hands, but that's all he's going to get so far. He was able to find the equalizer, but now's the side take once again in the hands of OG. But Reckoning Esports, they would have learned something with the way they're trying to retake the B site. Something new needs to be implemented. They need to not repeat the mistakes they have been repeating so far, but a TK from Tesseract, I guess, just gifting it over to the opponents.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he was tagged, I thought that he's gonna bring out the Hunter's Fury, but this is not the kill I expected. At least he's making up for it. The orb singing the song of death, which was at one point a little dicey. Deadly time pressure against him. He's moving with
player
all
standing.
his velocity, all his might, and it's not enough. Orangutan take the map.
OG, Antidote's looking quite pumped up. He's feeling himself after that game. That TK, I'm not sure if his, I'm not sure, yeah, but he's definitely saying something to Tesseract after that TK. But it's fine, as long as you're able to win that map, as long as you're able to win that round, he redeemed himself pretty well. He got 2 kills right after that. Really nicely played.
I think he did it on purpose. He wanted Antidote top. It's quite funny because there was a point when Rockwood stopped topping and Antidote picked it up, and then Tesseract was like, you know what, mate, hand it over. Hand it over, I'll show you how it's done.
I don't think so. That was doing on purpose.
Of course, I'm just joking.
I highly
obviously.
doubt. Imagine later on in the interview we find out. Oh, okay. Well, okay.
That-
Well,
what
anyways.
what if I was right? What if he said asked this in the interview?
What if you were right? But yeah, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to break down. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny.
to take in. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to welcome the YouTube audience back to the stream. Welcome YouTube audience to Valorant Challenger South Asia. A couple of seconds after the map of Fracture will begin, where we have seen OG play the map of Fracture for the first time on the first day of VCSA against Lethal Esports. This is going to be the second showing of Fracture. We haven't seen Reckoning Esports play it so far, but we don't exactly know how the Asian pool is going to look like. Tesseract is going to go with the Cypher pick. RVK on Brimstone. Definitely an interesting switch up here.
Yeah, it's usually RVK on the Sentinels. Tesseract mostly plays Initiator, but this time it's Antidote picking up the responsibility. So there's a lot of switch-ups. Antidote, who was playing Omen previously, now on Breach. Aziz and Rafiel on the Duelist doesn't surprise me. They are always the ones to dive inside. But because this double Duelist setup exists, OG will be playing really fast. Master's gonna have to act a little bit like a Sentinel, a pseudo-Sentinel on this defensive side if he wants to stop the pace.
It's the similar Asian pool that they played against Lethal Esports. Levi was the one who was playing Brimstone, but now Levi's not playing, so RVK is going to be playing the role of Brimstone. Nothing changed, similar stuff, double duelist composition. Here we go. We're heading inside the map of Fracture for the second time in Valorant Challenger South Asia, and I'm quite stoked. We're going to kick things off on the pistol round, where Reckoning Esports is on the defending side and OG on the attacking side. It's their chance to make a target.
Reckoning's lack of Breach starting to concern me. Breach has become a staple pick on this map.
Oh yeah.
Same with Brimstone. You really need that Molotov and the Orbital Strike on Brimstone. So I hope that by choosing the Omen, Reckoning can make up for the lack of that Breach with the Paranoia. And of course the one-ways.
Peaceful start so far.
So far, being the keyword.
Shown. Yeah, so far being the keyword. Of course, it's going to be breaking down in an all-out chaos, but OG, interesting stuff. They've got a man on the lurk. I mean, Cypher doing his job already right off the bat on the pistol round. He's lurking towards Arcade. Ascent presence is being spotted by OG. The lurk will be activated, picking up from the back lines. Quick dash on the site. Both the duelists have already made it in. Rafiel was able to find one in quick succession. Cloud's position and compromise with this Omen. This man's playing quite aggressive. He did manage to find one, but the trade was just happening so back and forth. It looked like quite a chaotic round, but at the end of the day, OG managed to secure it.
Yeah, and OG diving deep into the site so quickly. You have the dash from the Jet. Even Aziz climbs up, instantly taking down Master. That pace is just so deadly for the side of OG. And Reckoning need to find a way to deal with it. Flabin's Paranoias have to be on point today. Connect to so many players that everyone gets stopped in their tracks. If not, they're going to have to step it up with the explosives.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the composition that Reckoning Esports is playing is the composition that Navi played against Fnatic in the semifinals.
And how successful were they?
Navi got absolutely dominated, considering the way Fnatic was able to play on the KJ turret contact. But luckily enough for Reckoning Esports, the opponents don't really have KJ. So it might be a little tough for them to counter this. But if they had the KJ, this composition is easily counterable with Brimstone and KJ and Breach combination.
Yeah, it is quite interesting that both the teams opted for a Cypher instead. I mean, usually it is kind of KJ's playground. There's so many nooks and crannies to change up your setup over here on the map of Fracture. It really lets you be super creative. But for now, OG has just been easy to actually walk.
One enemy remaining.
Simple.
Flawless. Wait, no. Hold on. I'm going to take my words back. So Hirsch is basically playing Sky instead of KO.
Yeah.
In Navi's lineup, they had KO, which was being played by Zipan. So we're seeing that little switch up being done. But I personally feel like both of these picks are pretty solid, but I personally prefer KO on this map.
I still prefer Breach. I still think Breach is superior on Fracture. There's just so little room to dodge his utility. I mean, the fault lines are almost stable. The only way you can dodge a fault line is fade it out and just back off and... lots of contact in the lane. Everybody falls back towards the site, except for Deadly 10, who challenges the Boombot dealt with. And he's realized that they've established the man advantage, right? He better fall back now. And even if they give up this A main control, it's completely fine because they've got Harsh pushed up all the way towards B main. So in case OG fall back, Harsh will be the one to know.
OG just creeping and crawling their way all the way towards the site. Once again, just trying to do something that they did in the first round, and their duelists have already made the entrance. Flabbing inside the cages, he's being spotted! Raw fuel, great way to open things up, a deadly 10 pounds counter. Trades did happen back and forth, but in the favor of OG, they've got a man advantage secured, but instantly gets neutralized.
Now we're cooking.
Reckoning Esports got a man
Last player
advantage back in their
standing.
hands, but OG, they're all the time able to find these
enemy
type of
remaining.
counters. That was a good fake being made
Spike
by
down
Hirsch.
A.
Throws a pistol towards the doors, making the opponents think that maybe he's going to go towards the doors, but that's not the case. Hirsch kept on walking in the front, and the last man gets taken down too. Reckoning Esports, a good way to squeeze out the round.
I did like how OG started the round off. They didn't use all the sky smokes from RVK. They had a little bit of gap covered by the side of cages, which I thought was amazing because Rocky was able to weave in and out of them.
Now we're
And as much as it seemed like a round where OG was destined to win, Harsh stepped up massively. This man's been feeling himself, you know? I mean, he's always been an amazing player, but we just never got to see so much of him before, partially because Flabbin and Hoya would have been hogging the spotlight. And now that the time of reckoning is upon them, please pardon the pun, he steps up. He steps up in the time of need.
And if you remember, we had this entire conversation even when this composition was being used against
Blocking
Lethal
sight.
Esports. Is that for OG, the only way to gather info is to go for those aggressive plays. Good side for Tripwires. Gets spotted through the smoke, easily taken down. Master is going to find a good trade. At least the trade's done from them. Hirsch wanting to find some stance through the smoke. Also gets caught while the hands are busy. Will not get the fresh magazine in the hand, and Tesseract will also get the neural theft activated. Well done from OG, and Tesseract is always able to just find those sweet values through the smoke. He's unexpected. This man is so
Enemy
fluid.
remaining.
3 out of 5.
Jesus, this man is criminal at this point. Somebody stop this man, but there's probably no prison that can contain him.
Go, go, go.
And Aziz to top it off. Tesseract being so cheeky, his smile says everything you need to know. Pushing out of his own teammates' smokes is something that Reckoning Esports would have never expected. And even if they did expect it, they wouldn't have expected him to do it 3 times, dude. Come on.
One enemy remaining.
But this is just... Oh, Tesseract. He's all over the place on the site. Sometimes it peeks all the way back to defender spawn. Then he peeks close, takes out the players. He's just all over the place. It's tough to get a grip on this man. But
Absolutely.
OG. 5 players stacked up towards the main, and the B side is completely left over. It's a complete stack from a Reckoning Esports on the A site, but unfortunately for them, there's no one over there.
It's just a camera placed on the B side.
Coming through. Go,
So
go.
at the very least, Hoya can see OG take this site under control in full HD. If they don't discover this camera, then they can probably use it to decipher where the both locations are. And it's not been broken yet, so that's something. But regardless of the information Reckoning gathered, they still can't beat the firepower that OG wields right now.
That, and that's a fantastic play.
Round's ready.
Reckoning Esports, but Aziz is here.
One enemy remaining.
Here with the mop. And he will be mopping all the opponents. Another round win in their hands. OG, they're starting to run away with the lead once again, just like they did in the previous map too. 4-1's the score. In the previous one, it was 5-1, and then a tactical timeout was being called.
Aziz comes in with the mop. OG closed down the shop. Let's see if Reckoning can get on the top with this one. And that's the end of my rhyming segment. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Maybe you should become a rapper.
I've tried. I guess I just don't have a sense of the beat.
You know what? Let's make a rap video sometime, bro.
Cool, cool. Something to do
Watch out.
before the playoffs begin, I guess.
I guess, yeah. But, jokes apart,
Cage trigger.
fast lane use easily once again on the side made. So they basically realized that the trap fires from the main are a little bit too problematic. problematic, so might as well try to make it from the backlines this time. And that's what they do. Arcade control taken, and the entire side for utility sort of denied.
Yeah. And I mean, up until now, Reckoning, the only way that they can sustainably get kills on the B side is with the trap fires. They haven't really been defending it. They've just been sort of letting it go for retake. So now the onus of pushing in is upon Reckoning. And he's making this work so beautifully. A flurry of faith through, and all of them fall in the favor of OG.
I told you, man, if you're going to give 1v1s to this team, they will always come out on top. They've got some crack tamers. You cannot afford to do so. The only way you will be able to establish any sort of firepower dominance is when you're going to have each other set up for a trade. Just like over here on the stairs. That was a really good trade from Moya and Hirsch, but then unfortunately RVK from the back just sealed the deal.
Yeah, he doesn't even need a line of sight. Just sprays them down to the smoke. And once again, OG go for the off.
This is a nice spot.
This time at least, Reckoning Esports are deciding to double stack this region. But what can they possibly accomplish with this lacking weaponry? If there was a Bucky over here, I would be so happy. I want to see a Bucky kill. It's so salty to witness all that. But as always, making this look simple.
Three players left over. And there's a lurk once again, and it's Tesseract on the lurk. As always, this man's lurking on the A side, but he's soon enough going to find out that there's no one there to lurk out. But now, this lurk might just surprise every single player of Reckoning. But before that, it seems like the OG, the players on the site, will be able to probably seal the deal. AZ is with a huge 4K to clean things off. Another round secured. And we might just see a tactical timeout being pulled out now. Because OG, this is their map pick, and we all know this is an attacking-sided map, and that's why OG, they're having a huge surprise element so far in the entire game. But once again, you cannot let such a solid lead being stabilized on this map, so a tactical timeout has to be called. And as I say that, there is a tactical timeout from Reckoning Esports. Reckoning Esports isn't really able to read where the execute are coming from. Sometimes they're coming from main, sometimes they're coming from arcade. So they need to find a sweet spot to find out where exactly these executes are coming from. Especially, they're also tired of the lurk that Tesseract's able to pull off over and over again. So they need to find out to shut this man down. 6-1 is the scoreline, and Reckoning Esports, they're now 5 rounds shy, and they cannot afford to let any more leads get taken away from their hands. So there are some heavy talkings being done from both the sides, and both the coaches are talking quite a lot. For OG, they need to get as many rounds as possible in the attack, because on defense, things will get tougher just the way they are for Reckoning Esports. So it's just the time to set up a massive target for your opponents. Let's see what sort of stuff they have managed to figure out after this tactical timeout, because OG, they're starting to run through this entire tournament. Or this entire series, considering they got the first map.
Yeah. I mean, even the tournament's appropriate, right?
This goes here.
Even if you say it. Given their current track record, they probably will walk away with no losses in the tournament. 0-4, and that is a big safety. Viper spit on aim. Take control of arcade instead, and they've done some visual. Rolling down the inside. OG recognized that Reckoning was stacking everything when they made, so they tried to take them down.
Spike down
But Deadly
A.
brings out the big guns. RBK can do the trade and still a 3v3. But the Seekers tell them that Reckoning have already covered the distance towards the B side, and now planting is difficult. He tries to cross over, but Antidote falls. Boy, playing amongst the trap fires and the cyber cages, they won't keep him safe. RBK has to make a difference, and he's done a lot so far, but Tesseract, it's all up to him now. A 1v2 forced.
I have
and
retrieved
he's
the
been the
spike.
smoke criminal before, but can he do the same glorious
Planted
activities
the
once
spike.
again? He just about makes it out of there.
5 HP in the hands of Tesseract. Now it's looking like an impossible clutch. It's 1-on-2, unless his position is not expected, but it is by Reckoning Esports. But one thing one thing I've been able to understand so far is that when OG, they get the side control, they're just all over the place. And Reckoning Esports, they're not really able to figure stuff out where exactly the players are going to be positioned for the post plant. And They're always having this surprise element where Reckoning Esports do not expect them to be there, and then they just get absolutely surprised in the backline, just especially with how the Brimstone surprised them from Sands.
Yeah, but this was such an expensive round for Reckoning. They had to use everything to get this one. Wiper Spirit, From the Shadows, Showstopper, Seekers, all of it put in just to gather this one round. I mean, I'm happy that they were able to break the winning streak of OG. I just hope it's not too much.
Blinded.
Once again, aggressive approach from AZ's. He's making a lot of presence, and I guess it should be expected by Reckoning Esports that he's just here to cause some chaos.
Here.
He's all by himself with the breach.
But you can't predict that now, can you? The last 2 rounds, OG have been taking arcade control really aggressive. Sorry, not arcade. They've been taking dish control quite aggressively, so that kind of prompts Reckoning Esports to reinforce A main instead, because they can't hope to defend both the sides of A. They take a gamble, they position themselves towards A main. That seems like the difficult place to defend, so they just stack it up. In the lead
Good
reach
hawk.
completely. Yes, the hawk was
Good guiding light.
and they do get the information out of it, but now that OG are starting to creep in towards the B side, Reckoning once again have a decent idea.
Here.
OG, they're really trying to be sneaky. Not even dropping a single foot kill. And they're just going to let the suspense build over time. Look at the amount of aggression that Voya is starting to show up with this Cypher. He's playing inside his own cages. He's being spotted out. He's also getting spammed through. And AZ somehow, he reached this man like a book. Getting spammed through his own cages. Did not expect to see that coming. And flabbing from the back lines with his teammate, Deadly 10. He's able to compromise on one player. It's a 3-on-3 scenario. Things being equalized, neutralized, as you'd like to say, in Reckoning Esports. They really want to start to make it in the site now. Master's the only man who's moving in from the defender spawn. He should be expected soon enough here. Raw Fuel and AZs, they're having a little crossfire being set up all the way towards defender spawn. But those were some good shots from Raw Fuel.
It's straight up a utility diff in the post plants. The Paranoia and the paint shells from Reckoning Esports found nothing. Even the Snakebite did not. All it did was clear out positions which were unoccupied. And once again, it's Raw Fuel who steps up. Usually it's Tesseract who's the one playing near this little L-shaped corner, jiggling in and out of smokes. And though Raw Fuel is not the smoke criminal, he does put Reckoning in a very tough spot. It's a consistent problem that Reckoning have. That position has been nearly impossible for them to clear. As he's brute forcing his way to dish. This is great. Slip and sliding out. Voya finally gets that frag. Walks away with a gun and info, but unfortunately has to pay for it with his life.
The gun's instantly being retrieved by Hirsch. They're really here desperately trying to get their hands on the guns. Look at the amount of aggression Deadly 10 showing on top of the box. It's going to fall back instantly, but still Reckoning Esports. Sort of not able to connect the shots. Hirsch was able to take one before he went down. Tesseract is there to try and save the day for his team, and he's also pushing up quite deep with his cages. Will catch Master off guard. Was not expected to be there. Deadly 10, he doesn't even have a lot of HP, and Tesseract will seal the deal. Last man taken down as well. The amount of confidence this man is showing, it's incredible against a top-tier team.
The smile on him, man, that's where it all begins. You know he's grinning ear to ear when he steps inside a smoke, and then his opponents have a hole in their face the moment he steps out of it. Isn't this like the 4th something time when he's made a smoke play like this? 3rd or 4th time. I'm losing track because this man, out of the 11 frags that Tesseract has so far, 6 of them have been multi-kills through the smokes.
Blinded.
That just tells you how cheeky this guy is.
Reckoning Esports, I think so the only way to stop OG is fire to fire.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Because they're not able to stop the prowl on the site. They're not able to stop the entire entry on the site, so you might as well try to go aggressive, right? And that's what they're doing this time. The traits are there back and forth, but the man in the close is not expected. And OG, they start to get the grip in their hands once again. Reckoning Esports, they're not expecting these angles, and that's why their defense is sort of crumbling down all the time. The awareness does seem like it's lacking against OG.
Spike planted.
And the last man alive, Voya with the gun in the hand. and he will manage to find the player through the smoke, but RVK has already chipped him down to 2 HP.
Looks like I was the stronger one.
Sure. I would have said that
Oh
OG
my, he's just testing his crouch button, guys. He's just testing his crouch button. He's making sure that there's going to be no tech issues in the future, so he's just testing his crouch button. It's nothing else. Stop overthinking the scenario, chat.
Poison's gone.
I would have said that the grip that OG has on these kind of sites, it's very impressive, but for now, the only grip they seem to have is around Reckoning's throat, and they're choking them out of air, suffocating them in their own sites.
They've got him in a deadlock.
Yeah. If Reckoning plays aggro, OG can still deal with it. If they don't, they still deal with it. If Reckoning have default positions, OG have a counter, and if Reckoning stack a particular area, OG can read it. So, what do you do?
It's OG all over the place.
Yeah.
But let's see. Maybe this 9-3 curse will be activated. I mean, they've got the signature guns on the board. Vandals, Guardians on the hands. So let's see how many times these Guardians aren't going to be able to click. But the first shot missed, and Master compromises with his life. Deadly 10 trying to make his way towards the side, and he knows that he's the only one there. So I guess the fake is now being detected. You can see the B-side presence is still there. They haven't left the B-side yet. Deadly 10.
My eyes are better than yours.
He's just going to play inside. He was hoping to sell the fake, but Moya Flappin, they recognize what's up. They recognize the real push is coming towards A. Great read.
I don't even know what just happened there. It just, all I was seeing in the kill feed was taps, 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 and players dying. OGs dying slowly and steadily. But this still was a really good find. I would say a valiant effort from OG to try and pull something new off, but this time OG, they didn't really fall for it, considering Deadly 10 was on that aggressive angle, and he was able to get his foot back on the B side. So Deadly 10 probably gave the call away that there's no one on B. He's the only man on the B side, and he also caught him while he was trying to slip all the way from the arcade. So it was still a fantastic first half, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, Fracture is an attacking sided map, and I'm really excited to see Reckoning Esports on their attacking side. So it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the wings, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the wings, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of this entire game of Fracture. We are going to be moving inside the game. And as I said, now it's time for Reckoning Esports to chase down the lead that OG has established so far. It's an attacking-sided map, and Reckoning Esports will try to nail every single player in the coffin.
I hope they brought enough screws, because OG has the hammer.
The screws are the bullets, Grips.
Yeah. You don't need to hammer them in if you can shoot them out of a gun at lightning fast speeds. Rocky looking to take
nail
things
guns
a little more aggressively. Nah, there's no nail guns over here.
Okay, Reckoning Esports.
Yeah, it's a two-pronged approach from Reckoning, right? Rafiel made contact towards A main. Reckoning, they try to flirt with the idea of going B. They make a little noise, and now they're heading back A. So, do OG over-rotate? Up until now, no such signs of that.
Really peaceful approach, but look at OG. They're starting to capitalize from the back now. They're wrapping around, and Reckoning Esports, they're gonna have a surprise soon enough, and it's a huge surprise. But only one man was spotted out. They've got no clue. Their RVK is in the close. The frenzy will strike. But the trades are now starting to happen back and forth, and Reckoning Esports, once again, they get the man advantage in their hands. AZs and Rafu left over. Those two duelists to make some star plays happen.
30 seconds
Spike
left.
plants going down on the B site.
Spike
Rafu
planted.
slowly and steadily making his way towards that. Man advantage is in the hands of Reckoning Esports. Shouldn't be that tough to convert it. And Boya in the back will shut down Rafu. One more to go. AZ's too much to try and fall up to. And it seems like AZ's as well will be taken care of.
You know, Reckoning Esports always sticking together. I guess that's a very stable approach to deal with a lineup like OG. And OG will be the team that will push you from multiple sides, hoping to box you in.
They've got no other option.
Yeah, they have no other option. So Reckoning is
down,
kind of
attackers
turning
spawn.
every fight into either a 5v3 or a
One enemy
5v2
remaining.
every time they rush together. I mean, the only time that they were not together is when a couple of Reckoning players were marking
That
outside
goes
A
there.
main and the rest of them are trying to creep in towards B main
This
at the
goes
same
here.
time. And once they reunited, OG thought they could box them in towards spawn because so many of them were pushing in and closing the gap. And then Reckoning just flipped the script. Turn every fight into a multi-target alley.
Rafu just escaped the death's grip. But he gets caught
Goes
again,
back in.
so yeah, it's okay. Reckoning Esports, I mean, it should be an easy cleanup considering the opponents they're just on an eco. So yeah, Reckoning Esports, they're still respecting their opponents. They don't want things to fall off their hands because they know that in eco rounds, the main motive of the opponents is just to take the guns off your hands. And as you were talking about that entire aggressive push, as I said, they've got no other choice. They need to go for the aggressive pushes because as you can see, they haven't really got a lot of info gathering agents other than that Cypher on the site, which is supposed to anchor down or either rotate between the sites or maybe try and flank the opponents. But other than that, he cannot gather straight up head-on-head info. So they need to go on those aggressive pages to gather those info. And we saw when one player tried to do that, he got shut down quite easily, and it was on the name of Rafuel.
I mean, even if Harsh has a little bit of information gathering ability, the flashes don't exactly tell you where the opponents are. So many corners and nooks and crannies.
Team A.
That information can be placebo. Reckoning keeping it clean so far, but now as the bonus round kicks in, OG will have firepower. Can Reckoning step up? Can they burst through it?
Oh yeah, they can.
5-man push with a bunch of Spectres might seem good enough, and simply because Reckoning have a double controller setup, they can block out a lot of line of sights from OG.
4 on B. Look at this. OG. 4 players on the B site.
Right here.
That's what the stack looked like, but the Cypher setup's on the B, and now the Cypher himself is playing on the A site. And this is the advantage of having a Cypher on Fracture, considering you need to be really quick on your feet, and Cypher allows you to do that.
OG crunching Brit side. A push out of both Arcade as well as Dish clears out the entire northern sector of this map. Tells them what they need to know, but they don't know what Reckoning's real intentions are. Whether this contact towards B main is just a ruse or whether it's a full commitment. And so far with the Sky Smoke and the Aftershock, they've pushed Reckoning back.
Wow.
But instead of going towards A, they're heading underground where RBK is all by himself. An unfair fight offered to him, so it's good that he's at least able to get one.
But a Vandal offered over,
Yeah,
and
that's
they
a big
cannot
problem.
afford to give away
Spike
the
down,
ARs
B.
in the hands of the opponent. Another gun falling down. They're getting their hands on these guns. And the problem is, now Reckoning Esports, they're sort of getting their hands on these ARs, which will give them a huge advantage once again to make a comeback inside this round. It's a 3-on-3 scenario.
They found my wife.
Things are
30
equalized.
seconds left.
And it should be an easy stroll on the side as well. Tesseract being shut down. Really good paranoia from Flabbin. Entry already being found. And now the guns are in the hands of Reckoning
enemy remaining.
Esports. And it should be an easy cleanup once again.
Antidote's better off saving. He's still trying to make a move. Trying to be cheeky, but there's just way too many targets on his pallet. Now he knows where they are, but the smoke... Yeah, that's gonna be his death sentence. Reckoning Esports feeling good, feeling confident after this buy round win. Sorry, the bonus round win for them. Steal the weapons back, and they've pushed OG back into the economic trenches, which should give them enough momentum to close the gap even further.
Spike planted. One enemy
Look at
remaining.
these shots, man. Not a huge fan of how they try to play aggressive there, considering they know the opponents have Spectres, and that's what they're exactly waiting for. If you give an up-close fight to a Spectre, you will always lose out that. So it doesn't make any sense for you to push out. I guess OG really wanted to catch him off guard, but considering now they lost their bye round and they're going to be forced on an eco, once again, Reckoning Esports a huge chance to capitalize. 7th round might just be upcoming.
Yeah. And even though they had the Spectres, look at the amount of visual denial that Reckoning Esports have. The Viper, along with the Omen, along with the Cypher's cages, just allow them to close in the distance without OG being able to see anything. And once they're at that range, the Spectres also have a massive advantage. Reckoning using every tool they have at their disposal. And because they've got so much visual denial, they can always just put up the Viper wall on the B side and continue deciding later on in the round whether they actually want to go there or not. It makes it nearly impossible for OG to make a prediction as to where Reckoning will hit. So OG can't make preemptive moves. They have to do whatever they have to on the basis of proactive aggression. And that Reckoning is prepared for.
AZ's once again going for the contact play. Pushing up close and personal. He's not going to find anyone in the clotheslines. Reckoning Esports, at least they had the call. At least they have some clue that there are players pushing up.
Is Flabin going to TP into the smoke?
Maybe.
It's just put down to make sure that nobody can beat that from the left-hand side. So Reckoning can focus towards arcade and towards the CT spawn more. But when Rocco's got the Sheriff like that and his 6th sense is on point, why do you even need Vision Antidote protecting Deadly only for a moment? But Harsh avenges his fallen comrade.
The crossfire was perfect. And now OG, they're only left with 2 players. Tesseract and AZ's. It's a 2-on-3 with not the suitable amount of guns in the hand. Only Sheriffs to try and pull something off here. The only way you can pull off this round is hand out some haircuts to the opponents, but it's going to be Flabin who does that instead.
9-7. Reckoning Esports heading towards the equalizer really quickly. And they just need to win one more round. If they win this one, then OG will be broke again. They finally have enough money to muster up weapons. But like I said, this is a must-win round for them. If OG lose this, it's not just 9-8, it might just be 9-all.
Think of that. And you've got Flabin TPing around once again. This man on the Omen has been a menace. Sort of a nightmare for OG.
Yeah. And I have a prediction to make. I might be wrong when I say this, but Flabin's going to use that smoke almost every round. They use it to make sure that nobody from OG can really peek out of tower or from the side itself. And Reckoning can focus towards arcade as well as every area that's left open by the toxin screen. Really just isolate your fights.
That's a really good capitalization too from him, right? Because he realizes that's the only way they're going to be able to get quick info in their hands. Either jump spot or either try and shoulder peek to get that info. As we all know, they don't even have hiding right, and neither Sky nor that KO to try and get that info. A quick shot on the players, but instantly Reckoning Esports, they followed up with 2 of their own. They're going to be good for 2. The spike plant goes down on the B site. They've got the Brim ult available. Orbital strike still being held in the hand. AZ's, as always, this man's going to start to walk in, capitalize from the back lines. The champion's Vandal's glowing. This man's on the top of his scoreboard. And he's trying to glow up some players in the front.
Right there.
Time ticking away though. You need to make a move and they need to make it now. Orbital strike comes in. This is his cue to move inside. Aziz taken down by Flabin towards the other side. This cage, it allows Antidote to move to the other side. He isolates the fight and the flick. It is super good. He's gonna throw in everything at Harsh. Give him absolutely no chance. OG are desperate to win this one, and the captain has to be the bodyguard now. Wow, what a performance from Antidote. That cyber cage, which Voya put up over there, that was the death sentence. If it wasn't there, then they could have easily double-peaked Antidote and killed him. But then he gets a little maneuverable room, and he's able to isolate Flabin and Voya both.
Yeah, the cyber cage sort of helped him out instead of helping Reckoning Esports. And he played around that cyber cage pretty well. OG able to squeeze out another round in the hands. 10th round on the board. 7 rounds in the hands of Reckoning Esports. Not that far away. Still in reach. And Reckoning, they're going to keep on asserting the way they have been asserting their dominance. Once again, sort of showing the presence towards the site. And now, just falling back from the cave. All the way towards arcade. Let's see what sort of a strategy this time Reckoning Esports will try to bring to the table. Because considering the opponents used their Rolling Thunder, even Orbital Strike in that previous round, so they don't really have a lot to live up from. They don't really have any sort of ultimates anymore. Raw fuel, shots being baited out. Control taken in the hands, but Tesseract's ready with the Judge in the hand. In the close, he will of course have a huge advantage, and he gets the man in the close.
They did so much to push Rovul into an awkward position. Fake TP along with the satchels really threw him off. But this Judge is a big problem, and now that it's been dealt with, Master can actually deploy the Viper's Pit and secure the site for himself, enfolding the area in his arms. But his arms have to be really strong if they're gonna carry Reckoning
30 seconds
through the round. RBK down. That's Hoya's flank coming to fruition, and he's gonna go underground, hoping to circle them around. Aziz going exactly towards A main, simply to account for Hoya, and now that he doesn't find him, he's gonna relay information to Antidote about Hoya's whereabouts. And even though Antidote knows where he goes, he can't do anything about it. Aziz following up, down to a 2v2. Randomly spraying in the Viper's Pit, hoping that he can find somebody.
Player standing.
Oh, this time Judge in the hands of Deadly 10. Raw fuel closing up with the operator in close range. It's next to impossible to do anything with this gun. And Deadly 10, the showstopper's gonna seal the deal. Nicely done from Reckoning Esports. Another round in the bag. As I said, they realized the fact that now they don't have the key ultimates to cancel out the Viper's Pit, and it was the Rolling Thunder and the Orbital Strike. And as soon as that went away, Master popped his Viper's Pit on the site, got the site control easily in the hands. Aziz was there with his ult, but unfortunately, he was not able to do as much as expected.
Reckoning was winning the crucial rounds, pushing OG back to the economic trenches. They've been here so often.
Nailed them.
Oh, but Rocky back with a vengeance. Flavin just about escaped the stun, and he's relentless, man. He wanted to go for more.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Two players position on the side. RVK doesn't really have a lot of HP, also being blinded. Reckoning Esports, they get the grip on the side once again. Master! Great way to open the site up. Every single angle opened up, and Flavin's expecting the lurks. And he will take down one. Rawfuel's not expected, and Rawfuel has got his hands on the Vandal. Flavin, unfortunately, the timing sort of works against him. And Rawfuel might just have a huge advantage from this angle. This entire flank that's about to be activated. Moving up slowly and steadily, creeping up towards Flavin. And Flavin's completely unaware. Flavin thinks that he's already checked the back flank, but as soon as he looked back this time, he's gonna spot out Rawfuel. Position compromised, and it was a double peek, but Rawfuel manages to hand out a haircut of Flavin.
Go down swinging if you are going that way. And now OG, they're staring at Reckoning Esports right behind them. There was quite a lot of distance between these two teams when the half switched. And as OG look in the rearview mirror, they can see the wolves hounding on their tails. OG need to pick up the slack. And this is one of the rare opportunities they will get to do so. Finally about to get a bye once again. And I hate to say this, but OG aren't out of the trenches yet. Another loss means they will have to go on another Rico. So they better make this one count.
Speak of making it count. And OG, they've got a bit too many players in the front. Reckoning Esports, two players managed to find the way in. The Boombot's gonna find one. And as soon as it does, Reckoning Esports, they decide to fall back once again. But the flank's now going to be activated from Rawfuel.
Nice.
A quick shot onto Hirsch. And it's going to put him to sleep. And that's a deep sleep. But now, as you mentioned, that was the Spike. Spike's position's known, and Rawfuel is going to make it look like he's backing off, but he's still going to keep himself tucked in that corner.
The only person who can save them over here is Voya if he somehow manages to make this fake work. He's making noise towards A, or rather, actually not making noise. He's just there as an insurance policy in case Reckoning can't make this tower push work out. Antidote prepared. Not the best crossfire, but he should be prepared enough. An opportunity missed, and now Reckoning can actually make the plant work. Meanwhile, Voya has the best flank ever.
Oh my god!
Spike down.
You talk about the best flank ever, and Aziz is able to pull that off. An unexpected wait, and Aziz gets rewarded for 2. And both those players gets greeted.
Enemy remaining.
He knew that Voya is there in the close, and Aziz this time, he's gonna get just caught off guard completely with those bullet. Final man's position's compromised as well. RVK gets trapped in the trap wire. And Voya wants to find the last man, but RVK knows he's running out of time. Reckoning Esports, they give another round away to OG. 11-9 is the score, and now Reckoning, they cannot afford to give any more rounds away because it would be the map point for OG.
OG were always on top of this. They had the read every single step of the way. The only thing that was working for Reckoning Esports are the frags going heavily in their favor. But even after all that fragging, it just takes one crucial piece of the puzzle. One kill onto the spike carrier to ruin everything. The first man to start it was Raw Fuel when he figured out the spike was towards Arcade. And then Reckoning tried to switch things up. Yet again ended up dropping the spike towards the bottom of B main. All in an attempt to bamboozle OG, they end up over-rotating and never account for Aziz to be near the same position.
This tactical timeout, I think so it's more like to give the breather to the player, right? Take a breather. Things are getting a little bit too amped up. Also, to fill in their ears on some new ways to try and counter OG. These surprising plays, these surprising positions. Yeah, that was. Oh damn, he's got good aim, right?
Yeah.
He took him down in one shot, bro. One clap, one clap, and the mosquito taken away.
Anyway, he's got bigger problems to deal with. Reckoning, even though OG can see them coming from a mile away, they're not able to do anything about it. The elevation on Rawfield really creative, but Deadly's just better, dude. He is sharper. Just like that, plant's gonna go down. OG don't have too much utility to make this retake successful. Antidote's got his entire arsenal. Aziz can stun up the place. Apart from that, they can't really hope to accomplish much.
Yeah, they've got no ultimates, and also not the man advantage in the hands. Voya, as always, he's just going to be staying in the tunnel underneath. So OG, I guess the call's being made to save up. Interesting,
yeah, it's a
OG.
one.
Yeah, it's
It
really
is
a difficult
decision
one
to make. If they lose this round, they're not going to have money. If they try to go for a retake, they will end up losing a lot of their weapons, and again, they will have to buy bulldogs and light shields in the next round. So might as well save what you got. Might as well hope to go for overtime.
Still, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for them, though. Reckoning Esports, I mean, they got the site taken in hand pretty cleanly, and OG realized now going for this site control, it's going to be really tough, and they're quite close to getting some of their ults, too, so I guess maybe they want to rely on those ults more in the future line, so they would try to take the ult controls.
Go, go, go.
Yeah, actually, orb controls can work out for them. Many of them close to their ults.
Reckoning Esports, 10 rounds on the board, one more round to go to equalize things in the scoreboard. And so far, OG on the other hand, they're really hoping on this map point. They just want to convert this round into map point. Seekers out, and now the players are going to start to march up with the Seekers too. Master was being there, but unfortunately Hirsch is going to be the one who will be capitalized. RVK in the close quarters, but Deadly 10 managed to find 2. Good for 2, and Deadly 10 sort of now is creating, or at least proving out to be a huge problem. Flabbin on top of the box teleports and clears out Aziz. A huge threat neutralized. 2 more to go. Flabbin and Deadly 10 on the site as Tesseract decides to move on in, but the spike control is in the hands of OG.
Reckoning have a lovely crossfire in case OG decides to push up, but that's not going to happen. a smoke faked, which will make OG assume
Last
that the
player
spike is
standing.
being recovered, but Tesseract spams
OG.
it down.
Tesseract's gonna shut down Deadly 10. But as you can see, Flabini instantly backs off. He's got the ultimate available, and that's what OG is realizing. He cancels the ult at the last moment, and it seems like OG, they're
30
sort of
seconds
reading
left.
these plays. They're expecting Flabin to be here. And with that moment, he also gives his entire positioning away. Gets caught in the tripwire, and Flabin shut down. OG reading that play so well. Flabin tried to play with his opponent's minds. He tried to fiddle with him. But OG, they did not fall for that fake. And Flabin, in the end, he outplayed himself out of this entire game.
The dropping of the spike just seems to be such a
Unfortunately,
big
stuff,
problem for...
Really not panning out for that man that well.
Yeah, dude, but
And OG
you
with
gotta
another
keep this
round
in
in the
mind.
hand. They have sealed the map point. Reckoning Esports, a fight for the life. A fight to pull off something great. To keep the series going, Reckoning Esports, they know they cannot lose out on this. And I'm pretty sure they want to give it their best shot to make it a third map.
Man, Reckoning had everything. Deadly 10 racked up such a huge ruckus on that side. Kills with the nades, and he farmed up another one as well to make OG uncomfortable, sattling inside at lightning speed. Even Flabin made some really cool moves with the Omen teleports, caught a couple of players off guard. But again, the spike being dropped is such a huge problem. This is the second time that Reckoning Esports have fiddled away, squandered away a man advantage because the spike was dropped in a very awkward spot. The first time it happened when Aziz got that double kill towards B main, and this time yet again.
Oh man, 10-12? Way too close, way too close. I can feel the heat, Crips. I'm already starting to sweat. 2 more rounds to go for Reckoning Esports to take us to OT, and this technical timeout is right on the time. Might just be the momentum breaker here that Reckoning Esports needed, yeah, to stop out OG.
I hope.
Standing.
I hope they recognize that Reckoning Esports are actually doing a pretty damn good job of getting into the site, but the spike's just such a big problem.
These shots, man, really just straight up hitting the dome. Both the teams are doing just fantastic job and capitalizing on each other. But at the end of the day, the attacking side always starts to reign supreme. OG, I mean, later on, it does seem like they have sort of started to get a grip on what exactly Reckoning Esports are trying to do. And that's why you're seeing them position in some positions that Reckoning Esports are not really able to expect.
OG have always been the kind of team that tries to go for these flanks, but Reckoning always try to stick together. At least that's been the narrative so far. Let's see if that changes. Because even with the superior numbers and the brute force of Reckoning Esports, they somehow find a way to give away advantageous rounds where they have numbers as well as weaponry. And OG have had a tough time here so far, man. They had a great first half, but ever since then, they've been struggling to string rounds together. And that's exactly why you see OG in these eco rounds so often. Reckoning used that economic disparity to cover the gap. And they almost equalized the scoreline at one point, but now that OG's at map point again, Reckoning have their backs against the wall. Only way through is to push through it.
One enemy remaining.
Oh boy, this technical timeout is really lasting for a long time, man. But one thing is for sure, the confidence when both the team is now starting to show up, and especially I'm loving with the amount of mixture these guys are able to show with the ciphers from both the sides. The lurk so far has been so valuable. Even Flabin with the Omen has sort of been a menace. Deadly 10, as always, is there in the front lines to try and create some space for his team, and if possible, he is also rewarding them with some kills.
Spike down.
And similar type of stuff even from OG. Their comp so far, it hasn't been working that supreme, but they have managed to squeeze out the last 2 rounds that they really needed to keep them in the match point. And this technical issue keeps on lasting. As I said, these technical pauses can really be a huge momentum breaker, and this might just give another lifeline that Reckoning Esports needed. You never know, man.
Exactly.
Anything can happen.
Add to that the fact that you cannot talk to each other. I mean, you can't talk to their coach during the technical timeout. It just makes things so much harder, right? Unlike a tactical timeout where the coach can chip in, you don't have that line of communication. So it's not even like you can take a fresh perspective and hope that that will solve your problems. Maybe figure out a pattern or two from your opponent team.
Exactly. But you can also see, right, that lack of breach as well. Sometimes you're witnessing that from Reckoning Esports.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's felt, especially that breach tremor can be so useful in creating that crucial space for your team on the site, forcing the players out from their crucial spot in an uncomfortable spot. That aftershock as well.
I'm glad you brought up discomfort. So that's the thing, even though the breach is basically a staple on a map like Fracture, the comfort factor for Reckoning Esports here is that they can use the amount of visual denial they have to push OG out of their standard spots. So OG can't really keep holding the standard angles. They have to reposition themselves, which definitely breaks up their crossfires and makes it somewhat easier for Reckoning to move in. So just hoping that the visual denial is disruptive enough that OG can't establish crossfires.
I especially love that play from Flabin where he teleported on top of the box and his smoke was already there and he was able to get one kill from that. So even Flabin's able to pull off some nice shenanigans to help out his team to get the side control. But ladies and gentlemen, the tech pause is here and that's why we're going to get it resolved in this short break that we're about to take.
Can't for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny.
Headshot. One enemy remaining.
Yeah, I guess we were a little bit late to the party when the round started, but Reckoning Esports find a reason to celebrate. Great stuff from Reckoning as they take control of the A side after having a little bit of a scuffle towards B and making a little bit of a skirmish over there. It was quite nice. Now, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. OG have barely any money, like Shield, Spectres, and Bulldogs across.
Tremor's ready in the hands of AZs. Well, not AZs, but Antidote. And AZs is pushing up with that Tremor. As soon as any sort of sound cues are heard, the Tremor will be utilized and AZ's entire aggression play will be activated. Reckoning Esports 2, they're not really making any sort of sounds, and this is where the Cajun turret really does come into play inside the composition. And as soon as the first contact's made, AZ's is the one who gets taken down. Showstopper was used, but no value being found. Antidote taken down 21 HP. He's chipped up quite low. Alarm bot sent inside the cage as well, but the alarm bot as well missed up. So, Reckoning Esports, at least they got the side control so far in their hands, and Woya's position is left uncompromised. It's a good flash, but his position is still unknown, but finally Tesseract checks the close left, and Woya being put to sleep.
Oh, OG are going for a main crunch instead. Do they know that Harsh is over here as well? At least the crossfires of Reckoning are broken. They can't protect Flavin. He's deep in the site. Deadly 10 has no vision, but Flavin needs no backup. He's spraying them down all on his own. And in case something goes wrong, there's also Harsh to add stuff into the mix. Uses the ultimate to escape from that death grip, escape from that desolate place where he's got nothing to work with. But now the pressure's on Raw Fuel, and overtime on the cards. He is forced to stick this, and Harsh knows he's got this in the bag.
We're going overtime! As expected, Reckoning Esports, now they're locking up, and it's all going to come down to this defending round. Whichever team wins this defending round, there's a high chance they will also win the OT. Let's see who capitalizes on that defensive round first. OG, they lost the entire lead they had. Reckoning Esports, they capitalized on it successfully, played the attacking side well, and now OG, they're going to go for a timeout. Of course, the coaches are not going to be happy because they lost a huge lead, but you also got to understand this map is a heavily attacking-sided dominating map.
My goodness. The way in which the Reckoning coach is aggressively moving his arm kind of tells you all you need to know about how they're feeling.
Yeah,
and it kind of embodies the whole, not just the passion, it kind of embodies the whole story of the game, right? Because when Reckoning pick up the pace on attack, they are nearly impossible to stop. It's like trying to stop an elephant. You're going to get trampled. And despite the traps which are variating from OG, despite the setup which keeps on changing, they can't surprise Reckoning. Even if they somehow surprise them, the few rounds which OG has been able to win in the second half was mostly because they managed to get Reckoning to drop this spike. And that's been the only weakness so far. If Reckoning forget the spike somewhere, if not forget it, if they drop it somewhere in a space where it can't be recovered from, that's the only time Reckoning have lost their attack side rounds. But the defense for both these teams looks kinda dicey.
12-12. Overtime on the board. Who's gonna secure this defending round? Reckoning Esports, will they successfully able to do so? It's a heavy push from Arcade. Fast lane invested, already getting the control in the hands. Shorty shots used, Master finds the opening, and that's a huge one. RVK's position known is taken down to 50 HP, and RVK comes out on top with another kill. Somehow, even though he's strapped with the opponents, RVK is able to strike down 3 players. An impressive run for this man, but his shoulder gets spotted this time. Make it down to a 2-on-2. Hirsch uses the Trailblazer, spots out Tesseract.
And now the spikes drop once again. The problem that Reckoning face in their attacking half. OG find themselves smack in the middle of it. Tit for tat, as Reckoning have a chance to close out this defensive half round. And it's been a problem for both these teams. If Reckoning win this, they can basically guarantee themselves the game. But Antidote isn't done yet. Sneak into the site. Reckoning players have reunited with each other. They're hoping to trade along with them. They just hope that they don't give away 1v1s to Antidote. But instead of planting, he's going in for the hunt.
30 seconds left.
He's the clutch meister, man, and he trusts his instincts a lot. Good aftershock, that'll buy him the time to go for the plant, but unfortunately, the paranoia is on the board, and the coach is hyped up. He knows how much this defending round means to them. Nicely played from Reckoning Esports. This time the resistance works out when it's needed the most, and now the attacking half, it shouldn't be as tough.
The only reason why this round was even competitive is because RVK decided to push through his own smoke. Tesseract used to do this all the time when they were hitting B, and it worked out wonders for them. So RVK thought, why not go for it again? Why not use the one thing that's been working for us? But despite playing to their strengths, OG succumbed to the attacking side round. And this is the one mistake they couldn't afford to make. Icebox seems inevitable at this point. Unless OG can flip the script and put up a defense round of their own. Something that they've struggled to do throughout the entirety of regulation.
I highly doubt, man. The reason why is that Reckoning Esports, they're just able to bring so many variety plays on the board. I mean, even OG, they were able to, but unfortunately, they got stuck in that pattern where they thought, okay, maybe if we're going to be able to dodge all that Cypher utility once again through the arcade and make our control on the B side, just like they did in the first half, it will work out. But this time, Reckoning Esports, they switched up their setup. They were ready for it. And Boya was able to deny that entire Heaven control. And right then and there is where things started falling apart. Not having Heaven control in your hands, not having that tower control sort of hurt them a lot.
But it's too late to regret it now. If they wanted to change it, they should have done it before.
Hawk out!
Rival also already committed to its speed. That hasn't really changed. But this time Reckoning Esports are splitting up. That's a rare change up.
Oh my
and
god.
despite having the bigger weapon, Raw Fuel loses the duel, and that's a mistake OG can't afford to make.
And they've already made it. So that means mistake is easily capitalizable if some mistakes aren't being made from the side of Reckoning Esports themselves. Woya was the one who was taken down from their side, and now even the tripwire is going to be activated, but it's being taken care of at the quick. In the nick of time, Antidote is also going to miss his flash, so unfortunately for Antidote, he isn't able to find the value, but it's completely fine with him. Tesseract just playing in the close quarters off arcade, still playing around his setup, but Hirsch is extending all the way towards arcade, and now it's a 2-on-4. The win is inevitable, and we are going to go to the map of Icebox. What a great win. What a comeback from Reckoning Esports. They established their dominance in the overtime, and Flabin once again, the beast is awoken.
Oh, it's not just him. Everybody on Reckoning is wide awake. And OG are the ones who kind of were caught napping this time around.
Look at the coach. He's so happy.
Yeah, this was one of the best comebacks that Reckoning have pulled off so far.
Impressive.
In fact, this might just be one of those rare maps with OG end up dropping despite having such a huge lead.
What a comeback. The 9-3 curse strikes again, Crips. 9-3 curse. But honestly, speaking logically, it was all the attacking side making up for it. And then later on, OG, they just lost that lead when they had the map point in the hands too. So Reckoning Esports, once they had the momentum in the hand, they started running away, and no one could stop them.
Absolutely nobody. Let's head to a break, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a lengthy map. Let's gather our thoughts, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny. I know my destiny.
Reckoning Esports, they have been looking pretty sharp in those, so let's see if they're going to convert the first round in their hands or not. And with that being said, YouTube audience, welcome back to the entire broadcast of English, where the map of Icebox has already started. As I said, defending is being done by Reckoning Esports and attacking is being done by OG.
OG start off really well. Probably lost a little bit of heat, but I'm sure he can get back up. Harsh failing to stop them. Isolated away from his teammates with the toxin screen. OG find the openings and the isolations.
Reckoning Esports,
Spike planted.
3 players left over. And it's a 3-on-5. As I said, they have been looking sharp, but this time the tables and the odds are flipped. RVK in the close, and oh, that's a quick shot. A quick tap on the head of Master, and a flawless round from OG to start things off. Great way to kick things off on the pistol round. Let's see how the upcoming rounds are going to be looking like. I mean, the anti-eco should be won by them as well.
And as soon as they realize that Master's on the lurk behind, most of OG players has decided to double peek towards screens, kill anyone who's holding the top of rafters, eliminate any possibility of getting crunched. OG see an opportunity and they seize it.
One round.
Deploying drone.
And OG. So they started drawing out the opponents. Just going for the information with the out drone. Not able to spot anyone in the close. So I guess He will try to extend towards B, but not yet. Just holding off the back lines still. Reckoning Esports, Flabin with the Marshall in the hand, doesn't find that connection. Will back out. 2 players in the front will get caught off guard. That's a good opening being found from OG. And now the Mountain Games start. They will fall back all the way to the B side because they know that no one was spotted with the Owl drone.
Well, there you have it. Reckoning can only put up there. The high-tech can only slow them down for a bit. Look at OG, they pick up the fights ahead of the Viper wall. Tesseract trying to overextend. Surprise Master, but this time Master is much sharper. Antidote still opting to play south of that barrier orb. Quite a risky position to stay in if the barrier orb breaks, but for now he's safe and sound. This just increases the potency of this crossfire.
Antidote in close quarters with the Spectre in the hand. This skin's gonna be deadly, indeed. He's gonna position himself inside the cove, but there's a little bit too many utilities. Snake bat as well. It's just causing a lot of problems, and a clean sweep on the site. Another round in the hands of OG as expected. No damage dealt on OG so far. The upcoming round's going to be the buy round, where guns will be bought from both the sites, and let's see how that one's going to pan out.
One enemy remaining.
So far, these rounds have been quite clean from OG. They even took a risk by investing the Vandal in it. And the risk paid off. Now let's see if the bonus lets them carry forward.
I'll show her.
Reckoning with the big guns. When they go for these aggro plays, the harbor availability on them does allow them to make these sort of moves. And look at what they're doing on A. Reckoning have already made Flabin push all the way towards the mouth of tower, the zipline tower, and he's way too aggressive over here. Because Reckoning don't see any presence on the A side, they have already started to rotate towards B. They can recognize this push from OG coming.
Sage walls up, the plant's going down. Rawfield's planning position's quite interesting. And I love the fact that they're able to fake it out as well. They use the Viper's orb to make it seem like the plant's being done on the edge, but instead, the plant's done pretty close. And look at Tesseract, he's able to find a little pocket where he positioned himself. It's so tough to expect this man to be there. OG, these micro tactics are really now starting to kick in. And as Tesseract has positioned himself, their high tide being put up as well by OG. And finally, the man peeks out in the close, denies the defuse, and takes 2 down before he gets taken down himself. Reckoning Esports, they're now starting to establish a dominance back, but this entire flank from the back lines is going to clean all the opponents up. A good round to close out from Reckoning.
I like the idea that Tesseract tagged over there. There were so many little micro corners in between the barrier orb, the toxin screen, and the cascade. Tesseract thought, yeah, I've got the advantage. They can't really see a lot of stuff. They can't really see a lot of things, so I might as well just invade the cove and kill the diffuser, which was great. But OG just cannot deal with the backstab. Reckoning successful with the crunch. They win the buy round as they were supposed to. OG don't really mind that loss. They knew what the risks of playing a bonus round are, and they're okay with it. Once again, it's an aggro position from Flabin though. He's not been detected yet, but he's now in a position where Master has to be forced to fall back, and he can't exactly back him up if things go wrong.
Oh, Flabin spotted. Dash is primed, and he will dash back. Master was in the closed lines. They thought that Master would not be expected, but a quick adjustment from OG. They capitalized on the man on close, and Flabin now, once again, on the backside, he's at least able to stay alive. It's a 4-on-5 turnable situation, and OG, they make it seem like they were backing off, but once again, they start to move on forward towards the A side.
Yeah.
But both those players from the A side, they haven't even moved an inch.
Meanwhile, they've got Antidote trying to sell a fake towards B. He's playing it very sneakily again, but I think he's going to go for a very smart look later on.
Spike down A.
It's all down to Voya. Backup is far away, and if he gets jump right now, things are going to start looking dicey for him. But look at the amount of map control that Antidote has. He's gone all the way towards Snowman, and he might as well just get the kill onto Hush. Even if he doesn't, he's cleared out this pathway for his team, who can now capture the B site.
Oh, I highly doubt B-side's going to be that easily takeable in the hands. But yeah, Reckoning Esports, they're respecting all the utilities and they're playing in a fallback. 14 seconds on the board. The spike will
10
go down
seconds
without
left.
any trouble. OG, as they have asserted the dominance, but this lurk from Tesseract is gonna be huge. AZ's with 2 quick kills on the opponents, quick taps, and that's gonna seal the deal. Tesseract's even lurk, and that's gonna be pretty much just a really good way to solidify that round in their hands. OG, nicely done.
That was quite a nice approach from Master over there. Because the moment
enemy remaining.
Flavin dashed back, he thought that, yeah, everyone's gonna be looking upwards, aiming at Flavin, dashing back. So maybe if I peek from the bottom, they won't catch me. But Rockville is just too sharp, bro. And because of that kill, he's now farmed up his resurrection. Flavin and Master once again playing off of each other. The Sheriffs are starting to sing the song of death, but look at Aziz. He's a bunny that's difficult to pin down.
It's just an absolute chaos on the B main. I like the adjustment from Reckoning Esports to push up deep on the B main with 3 players. And Boya also gets his hands on the Vandal. Oh, I'm a little scared for the opponents now. OG, you guys have got a huge problem to overcome. Boya, the Sova, doesn't have any sort of utilities left. A little bit more time to get the entire recon dart in the hands, but before that, he will be dealt with. RVK was the man who will take him down, and OG, another round of the board. Once again, OG, they're always able to start off with these leads in the hands, but then later on, Reckoning, they're just able to take it back in their hands once again.
Sheesh, those shots were really juicy
Player
though.
standing.
Super impressive to look at this kind of stuff, regardless of the outcome of the round. I mean, Reckoning were destined to lose this. The economic situation they find themselves in was slightly dicey. But this time, things look better. Ultimate slowly popping online from either side. Viper Spit and Reckoning on Reckoning. Oh god, I always get taking this one. And I still do it every time, shamelessly. This time though, OG have switched up their approach. It's a triple invasion into tubes. And above it.
Scanning ahead.
Jump shot from Hush. Shows them all to see. The Hush's Fury going vertically. It's nearly impossible to dodge this. And Voya capitalizes on this one. The timing, OG find themselves stuck in the tube and of this Hunter's Fury. It is tragic.
OG? Once again, Antidote really just trying to replicate what he did previously, trying to just position himself really deep in, but Aziz is able to get this lurk activated. Cloudburst used to deny that entire recon dart, but it's not going to work out that well. He anyways gave his position away. Ooh, quick tap. A nice flick on a Master's head. Aziz at least is able to find out the value. It's a 2-on-3 scenario. Still, the man advantage is in the hands of OG, and you cannot keep on afford to peek out like this to Aziz. And Boya gets unchecked. Spike spotted. Shut down, man, in the close. Boya starting to back out now. Aziz's knife's been able to make a huge difference, and now he's taken down to 30 HP.
Oh, and then it is a finisher. Dude, this round was so cut to cut. There were several instances where I thought, oh no, OG are screwed. And then I was like, oh no, OG are back. And then they're screwed again. The oscillation that my heart had to face in this round, it's a roller coaster. And you have to appreciate the timing of that Hunter's Fury from Moya. There's literally no place left to run when you're in the tube and there's a big laser beam coming at you.
Track them down.
Aziz's aim is just so good, man. This man barely misses any shots. Look at these two guys tucking together, having a little couple moment. Boya and Flabbin.
Sus.
Nah, man.
Drone.
It's okay. Sometimes
Enemy
Sometimes you gotta.
Oh, the drone spots them both though.
Ooh. Not a good news, right? And now they will need to
Spike
position
down
themselves
A.
outside of that entire screen. And that's also going to be able to find out a kill. Reckoning's in the hands of Reckoning Master. And he uses that. Reckoning being utilized, and now the entire push is sort of being nullified. Every single player will start to fall back, and that Reckoning was so perfectly used on the time. Antidote was trapped on the site, nowhere to go. He couldn't even fall back because there was Reckoning on his way. And because of that ult,
Toxins going up.
now OG, they need to reroute themselves. There's a turret in the front, and I'm pretty sure RBK will make sure that he's not being spotted out by that turret.
Oh, timing.
Peeks out.
30 seconds
Deadly
left.
picked apart. 30 seconds left on the clock. The spike plant will go down, but unfortunately, because of that Viper's Pit, OG, they need to extend all the way towards Snowman and get the entire site control.
Oh, this is such a risky position for us. He's literally walking past each other and Harsh
Spike
finally
down
gets
B.
it.
What was that shot? Wait, hold on. Nah, that's sus. That's what I
is
call sus.
Yeah, that part, yes, indeed. You can't even argue with me on that one. Inside his own Viper's Pit, his opponent's a mile away.
He just throws his mouse on the right and then somehow finds it through the Viper's Pit.
Spike
Yesterday we saw Techno running a gun in, and now we're seeing this.
Yeah, like, who needs
Look at that.
eyes, bro? Players have sixth sense, and I don't know, man. The hearing range of a dog, they can hear even a single footstep a mile away and still spray in the general vicinity to connect.
Spider-Man's in the making.
No, not Spider-Man. How can Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man's got a great sound sense. You don't know that.
Nowhere to run.
Anyway, I'm not here to discuss heroes. There's deadly than can be one.
Oh.
It's Rothfield who steals the mantle, steals the site for himself too. That is a juicy shot,
Spike planted.
and that plant can't be denied.
Side control just taken in the hands. You blink it and you miss it so quickly. What a fiery round.
Down.
Antidote's alarm bot's gonna get triggered. He tried to play off of that contact, but unfortunately is not gonna be able to do so. They were quite quick, but look at this entire lurk that's coming through. This is a huge lurk. RVK in the back's not gonna be expected, but it's not even gonna matter. Before the lurk even comes into play, Antidote's gonna just shut everyone down on the site.
Clean round by OG. And it all started with a bunch of hero shots. Like, what even was that? The utility usage from OG was nothing spectacular. It was the standard setup, right? You send a recon in, send your wiper wall in, and all of that jazz. The stuff you see every single day. But those shots, now, those are rare. And it's always Rothfield, man. Always Rothfield to deliver stuff like that. He's farmed up his resurrection ages ago, but he hasn't used it yet. I mean, that being said, he hasn't had a chance to use it yet.
Wow.
Now that Master's taken Aziz's head off, he can probably use it finally after having it in the back pocket.
You will not kill my ally.
Flabin, he went for that deep. What? RBK.
Player standing.
What are these shots? Today we're seeing
payback.
some nutty shots being hit. We're seeing some nutty shots being hit. And then raw fuel. The crosshair placement comes into play. But yeah, a quick round, a really quick round. Reckoning Esports decided to push up in their eco and they got compromised quite easily.
Hey, at least they figured out what the default of OG looks like. They know for a fact that OG are the kind of team that will commit really late. So in case Reckoning want to keep making these aggressive moves, they have the room to do so. But you need a lot more than that, my friend. A lot more than that to make an aggro play work against OG. Their defaults are one of the strongest in VCSA.
Speak about that, and recon dart being taken care of.
Take flight.
Once again, trying to position the operator in an interesting manner, in an interesting way. Owl drone be taken care of before the man in the close even gets spotted. Flappin! He got the trade, but the lockdown comes into play. Not a good news indeed for them. And no one's going to be expecting the man to be close. Tesseract whiffs all of his shots, and he will need to pay the price for that. Unfortunately, Tesseract's entire play, he was positioned for prime success, but unfortunately, Tesseract whiffed all the shots.
It can still be recovered though. The Viper's Bait makes it nearly impossible. Lockdown might clear this. Yeah, it definitely can. I think RVK might even consider getting deliberately detained to keep his Viper's Bait up. That is, if he's feeling dangerous. Yes, he is. It's a matter of time now. They need to find him. Rofil protects the Viper base. Deadly avenges. He knows that RBK is somewhere inside, and he just needs to find him, but he goes inside the curve. Dodging in and out of this little curve.
Wow.
That was a risky play, but RBK, he takes those risks in a very calculated manner.
Voya was on top of the pipes, and he was not able to get anything done there. And now Reckoning Esports being forced on in Eco. Here we go. The story repeats again. And a tactical timeout. I guess they want to make something happen out of this Eco round. They want to pop out a Thrifty here. And how are they going to make that happen? So far, OG, they've been looking really solid on the attacking side. And Icebox, I feel like the scoreline should be back and forth. It should be pretty close. So Reckoning Esports, they need to start asserting some dominance back inside this competition because it's a 7-3 scoreline. At least try and make it 7-5.
Things all looking rough. I mean, if you have a one-sided game on Fracture, which is somewhat supposed to be attacking-sided on paper, I can understand that, but Icebox is somewhat balanced. So Reckoning really need to earn a couple of rounds over here. I guess one can excuse them by saying that the Harbor Viper composition works much better on the attacking side, but then again, that's just an excuse. You can't justify the loss of rounds with that.
Keep up the crate work. That's what was written, right? Crate work?
Yeah, crate work. Much better than the Joe side
I
of the
see.
Standing ahead.
I see what they try to do. It was like a little pun, like keep up the crate work, like the great work. You get it?
Yeah, I'm surprised you're seeing that joke now.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, but I just forgot. I'm pretty sure I've
Yeah.
seen that. I just forgot. But
Still better
yeah,
than the
it's
joke
good
side
to-
crack, so yeah.
But I guess we both are
planted.
pretty much on the same page here. And boy, I whiffed the shot. So,
I'm glad you admit that.
well, I whiffed the shots, and now Raw Fuel is going to come into action. It's going to come into play. It's a 4-on-5 where Reckoning Esports, they don't really have the guns in the hands. They've only got the sheriffs, pistols in the hands to try and pull off something miraculous, something impossible. Shots being missed even from Raw Fuel, but it's completely fine as long as he's able to recover.
I have to point out, the only eventful
Round in
thing
the
about
half.
this eco round was the positioning of Reckoning stocks and screen. Usually, most Vipers have it placed horizontally, which cuts off the 410 region. But look at this one, it's been placed slightly diagonally. It allows the Reckoning members to not just push up further towards the orb region, but also place themselves under belt if they want to play it that deep. But that is a risky play, so let's see if Reckoning actually make it work something. For now, they've gone back to the good old Viper wall. Nothing creative this time around.
Operator on the play from both the sides, but Flappin, he knows. He does not want to challenge that peak anymore. He just falls back. Let him have the control. Why not? Pops out the dash. Dash being primed, and there's the dry peak. Shot missed! Holding the angle a little bit too close. Nano Swarm's activated too to try and deny the plant for as long as possible, and they will manage to do so. Hunter's Fury used, and Voya's not able to find, and the only tag he found was on his own teammate, Master.
Enemy
Here.
mark.
Yeah, they use the Nanoswarms and the Hunter's Fury to make sure OG can't really go for the plant. And now that they've delayed this plant for so long, Rofil doesn't have his wall anymore, so planting becomes much riskier. And that's exactly why I was saying it's much riskier. Deadly 10 can make a difference. Even attempts to shut down the flank. Yes, Tesseract, he was in a good position, but
Spike down.
Deadly's
B.
just feeling himself. Even Moya as well.
Wow.
RBK can certainly swing out like that. That can change the things around. But the spike is dropped
that
in
was-
such a precarious location. It's difficult to recover.
And AZ's on top of the yellow. 30 HP only in the hands of RVK, is still playing in the front lines, and AZ's needs to be the playmaker here. But RVK instead is trying to reposition himself in an angle where he's not going to be expected. Deadly 10 up close and personal, and he will be caught. Does not expect. AZ's on top of that container. He knows the spike will be taken in the hands, and that's why Woya decided to spam that angle, but nothing being found even from him. Aziz is already positioned all the way deep in Snowman, and Woya has no clue that Aziz is there. Knife in the hand, hands are busy, gets caught.
Sheesh, great recovery from OG. I was starting to have flashbacks of Fracture in this particular round. Remember how Reckoning dropped their spike several times and ended up losing some crucial rounds? And that's exactly what happened to OG this time. The Nanoswarms of the Hunter's Fury was used to deny the plant early on, and then OG tried to compensate for it by going deeper and hoping to surprise Reckoning, but that backfired. And yet somehow they found it together. They pieced the puzzle.
Impressive first half, man. And ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know all the rituals, now we're going to be pushing to the break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, man.
Came for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Came for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the beach, I get it in.
Welcome back, Giga Chats, to the English broadcast once again. And we are gonna stroll in the second half. 9-3 is the half once again, just like Fracture. But only the difference was that Fracture is an attacking-sided map. I personally think Icebox is equally balanced map, so it's really tough to see, or it's really tough to say if we're gonna be seeing that comeback being established or not. But hey, we're gonna let Reckoning Esports speak for themselves.
They will have to speak loudly, scream from the top of their lungs, from the rooftops in order to assert dominance.
For you.
If they don't, well then Aziz is gonna keep making plays like these. A shot taken onto Hirsch, falls back with the heal. Now it's up to RVK to delay things over here. He falls back instead of trying to go for the fight. That's Rice. They won't really pick up the fight until they figure out where the spike is for sure.
Deadly 10's all the way in the back. You can see this man lurking around. Still holding for the A flank. Isn't going to spot anyone out. I guess he will try to activate the mid lurk soon enough. On the other hand, there's only raw fuel on the A site. In case if there's a fake, Rock Fuel will of course try to play it around the Viper's wall and try to pull something off, but it's a B-side take. So OG, they've got a huge wave of enemies trying to cross on over on the opposite side, and Flabbing over extends. Woya tried to go for the trade, but Hirsch once again extends all the way deep. But he's able to find out the trade. Hirsch with another one. How is this man able to pull off kills like that? Raw Fuel in the back lines manages to cut off the lurk, and now it's all down to Hirsch with not a lot of HP left. Raw Fuel on the other hand, he's also got the light armor to work off with. So Raw Fuel will definitely make it work and hurt for his opponent. On the other hand, Hirsch decides to back off all the way towards B main. He's going to check for the flank.
And this is such a difficult situation for Hirsch to be in. Even if he headshots Raw Fuel, it's not going to be enough. The Ghost doesn't kill you if you have light armor. And Raw Fuel's got the barrier up. Good luck. Oh, Hirsch is giving away the footsteps. Raw Fuel knows where he is. A single body shot's enough. He takes his head off for good measure.
Oh my god, he's just testing his crouch. Why are these guys testing their crouch button so many times, man? I honestly just don't get it.
It's quite humid over there, so, you know, it might just collect under their buttons, especially on the edge of the keyboards. That's why they're doing it.
I think so. First time, even the first time it was Raw Fuel, right? Who was testing it?
I think it was Tesseract or Aziz. I don't really remember who. But
yeah, it was one of those.
Solution,
but yeah,
easy solution. Buy better keyboards. That's all.
I guess, yeah, just like they're just testing their crouch buttons. So anyone in the chat, if you guys are overthinking the scenario, no, it's a friendly neighborhood environment, guys. No one's gonna go for any type of those shenanigans. They're just testing the crouch buttons. But a tactical timeout being pulled out. Coaches talking to each other, considering now they've lost out on the first map. It was the 9-3 curse, which was supposed to be activated. Now it's a 10-3 scoreline, and it's the double digit being activated from OG.
Yeah, and this is one of the first times where OG seems like they won't squander away their lead. Reckoning backs against the wall once more. At least they got the plant, so they have the potential to force buy, but will they do it? The problem is, Reckoning Esports are relying too much on their Harbor Util to get that plant down. And if things go south, if OG decide to disrespect the Harbor Util and the Viper Util, just peek out of that or send shock darts to deny the plant, then Reckoning don't really have an answer. The only response they can probably go for is shoot OG down, and that's much easier said than done. The force buys here, bro. The Guardian on Harsh, Marshall on Flabin. They've got the weapon to close down the ranges, but most of OG is on Spectres and Stingers, except for probably Tesseract, who won't be seeing any action anytime soon. But with the amount of util committed by Reckoning Control as well as the Cascade, it tells OG that they've already taken control of green.
Bomb grenade out.
Now they just need to go for the plant. Nanoswarm's activated so Aziz can't peek out from the top. That's the only position where they're vulnerable. Gold lets them plant, and now they fall back as well. It's a 5v5. Reckoning have a good chance.
Really clean take on the side. I'm impressed. And they have, I mean, went for the force as expected, because they know they cannot afford to give any more rounds away in the opponent's hands. So you might as well go for the force, considering they got the plant down. And this is the only chance where they can try and do something. Marshall kicks in, but just finds one connection on the opponent. RVK taken down a half HP, and this is where the Sheriffs will need us. Now it's starting to click in. Deadly 10 managed to find two, but that's all that's going to get. Trades did happen back and forth, but the spike defuse happens. And another round in the hands of OG. Such a chaotic round. So hard to keep in track of what exactly happened there.
Exactly. It's like a pile of dominoes, rather. Once the first one's toppled, everyone starts to fall. And even in these chaotic situations where trades are necessary, there can be one person who can make a difference, and that's usually the flanker. This time it was Voya. He was late to the party, and by the time he came in, most of them were already dead.
All the players on the A side this time from Reckoning Esports. They're also using the drone to gather information, and I think so it's going to be a quick burst once again. Aziz is managing to find first one, the first man being cut off. And once again, Reckoning Esports just going for the force, but Rawfield single-handedly stops the entire push. Managing to take out three, and now Voya is left with a one-on-one. How did Voya take him down?
Yeah, dude, just sound sense. Jumping across and the Spectre accuracy helping you, but he can yeah, the worst possible reload timing. And RVK, as soon as he heard those mags being changed, that was his cue.
Dude, this is a huge round difference, and we talked about this, Crips. Playoffs, you cannot lose out a map on a huge round difference, but we still are not able to say anything that confirmed because we're not that good with maths, to be honest.
Brutally honest confession.
Yeah.
That was a brutal timing for Roya over there. I mean, he impressed us with the kill onto Rawfield, jumping across like that, but then again, the reload betrays him. Aziz really doesn't want to put any breaks right now. Aggressing down pipes, he's not going to spot anyone. And the only person who's even marking that area is Deadly 10. Meanwhile, Reckoning are on a mission to capture as many orbs as possible, to use the Cascade to provide Hush a little bit of cover. Viper Spit available. OG cannot let Reckoning deploy this, otherwise this win will be delayed. Who knows by how much?
Reckoning sort of backing out. There's a man on the lurk, Deadly 10, still just waiting for the mid flank. If someone's gonna try to overextend, Woya has got his recon dart back in the hands. RVK is ready with the snake bite, and he will toss the snake bite in, but it's a little bit too late. Flabin just dashed in right in the back, shut down RVK. Tesseract was able to come up with a trade of his own, but that might just be a little bit too late. Flabin able to squeeze his way out of that tricky spot, making it back to yellow. Considering it's a 1-for-1 trade, it's a fair one. Oh, they're going to back off.
30 seconds
Yeah,
left.
because Deadly's marking the mid region, it is safe for Reckoning Esports to charge inside over here. Antidote and Aziz both playing in tandem, but Aziz has his head taken off. The captain
Spike
gets one
down,
more.
mid.
Spots the spike, but now he doesn't know whether they're going for A or B.
What?
Just needs to buy a little bit more
10
time over
seconds
here.
left.
Here's the plant. Doesn't want to go for the challenge. He would much rather wait for raw fuel to arrive. And Harsh has been pinged. Yes, he can kill Desrak, no problem. But it's still a 1v2. Harsh is not using the Viper split. This is so weird.
Yeah, he's
big
holding
risk.
on to it. AZ's has the entire Blade Storm available, but what a shot! Clips his wing in midair, and Hirsch has already got a 3K. He's looking to get the fourth in the hand. He sniffs the blood, but this time Raw Fuel will extinguish that fire that they have to make a comeback. And OG, they come out on top in this final match of group stage. They secure and they keep the streak going, being undefeated inside this entire split one group stage. OG, they assert their dominance on the last map.
It was the shaky start for them. Fracture was labored, but Icebox was a statement. A cold-hearted, relentless statement. And Raw Fuel rightfully silences his opponents, silences the doubters.
Incredible game from OG. And now they're gonna group up once again. Because they did well. They need to appreciate each other. Fracture was lost out, but this is something OG will definitely learn a lot from. And I'm not gonna lie, I want to see Reckoning Esports in the playoffs. I really want to see this team. This team has some incredible amount of caliber. And if more given more time, I'm pretty sure this team will be primed for success.
Reckoning Esports had so many brilliant moments today. From the adaptations on Ascent to the comeback on Fracture, they put on one hell of a show. And regardless of their loss, Reckoning can stand proud in the fact that they gave OG a good run for their money. In fact, with their win on Fracture, they might as well have confirmed their presence in the playoffs.
They have. I mean, they maybe not. And I think so. It's better for us to keep the suspense going for the overall standings. So you know what, guys? You guys need to wait for the overall standings. It's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the wings, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now